I want to give massive thanks to all of my supporting members and patrons. Thank you all so very much. Hello, good evening and welcome. I've had some interesting problems. Tried to connect the stream. It didn't recognise it at all. Absolutely not at all. So reloaded, absolutely fine. Go figure. Then I had another problem. Mr. Arnold decided to sit on my mouse. Pushed him out of the way. He decided to sit right in front of the screen. Pushed him out of the way, went back to the mouse. He's got himself now set down on his cushion. But that was not much fun. Anyway, hope you're all well. I hope this is going to be a good one tonight. We got joining us, dual streaming, is Brandon Toy. So basically he's streaming to his channel. I'm streaming to mine, which is why I look a bit odd, because this is on Google Meets. Now, obviously only one of us can control Google Meets. As I'm starting first, that'll be me. So to be clear, although I've set up this room and technically I'm the owner of this room, in effect we'll be co-hosting. So I guess neither of us, well, he's unable to and I won't be doing any muting or anything like that. If things become a problem, he could walk away or I could walk away. That's as far as it goes. So it will feel a little odd. I do have, let's just have a quick reload here. I did see it come in, a super chat from Cygnus. Oh, crumbs, these windows. I've got so many now. I'll have to, hold on, I'll have to see all. There we go, that's better. Cygnus TSP for $5. Thank you, Cygnus. Mr. Sensible video after a hard day's work. Just what the doctor ordered. Oh dear. I hope you get better soon anyway. Talking about getting better soon, I feel pepped up. Arnold. He's on the move again. I feel pepped up soon because I have seen and I have discovered purest stupidity. I have seen the failiest fail of a debunk video of ever. What's more, it's not just the failiest fail of a debunk of ever. The guy is absolutely sure he's nailed me. The video is, I think, 1 minute 24 seconds, and watching it through the first time I saw him debunk himself 3 times. This guy is a fool. He's a fool's fool. He's a fool's fool. Yes, and a fool's. Don't labour the point. Don't labour the point. You get what I'm saying. This feels really odd because I've got this Google Meets with a slightly blurred background. It looks quite neat actually. It makes me look pin sharp, but all the colours are a bit off. Sorry. Just having a quick look. Brandon's going to be broadcasting via Ranty's channel. There's currently 3 people there. I've done more comments than anyone else, but there we go. So let's have a quick look down here and see who we have got. I do apologise. I've got to resize again. For some reason, my pop-out chat. Does anyone know if you make the window, you know, you've got the ordinary view, like the cinema view and the full screen view. If you make it in the cinema, how do you get it back again? Because I can't get it back again, so I've got the chat underneath and I can't get it to be back up beside it. Bit of a pain. I just have to pop it out into another window. Yet another window. Oh joy! Oh joy! Right. What's this? I see Mr. Sensible vs. Brandon Toy planned for 23:05. What? What? We're on now. We're on now, my friend. I don't know what that is. Oh, hold on. Yes, Snark. Depending on your time zone. Yeah, Brandon, because he's a time zone later, his early evening is 10 o'clock here. And I just see my stream just locked up. Yeah, so He's running 10 p.m. GMT, or 5 past 10 GMT is when he's coming on. And I guess you're an hour ahead, so that's 5 past 11. This should be good. Oh, takes him 10 minutes to play a 1 minute video. T when the video... T what? Oh, T when the video selected. Okay, I see a shortcut. Let's have a try. That's magic. I like that. That's magic, that is. Of course, what you could do is Alt F4. That helps. Is anyone else's stream locking up? Mine's frozen. That's not good. Yeah, Kiwiesel, Arnold is not a good kitty tonight. What on earth is going on here? I'll just reload this. Looks okay in the studio. Reloading. And it looks like it's going again. Where's the chat gone? I've got no chat at all now. There we go. Yeah, default view. It doesn't ever seem to work, but T does it. Hey there, Mitch. Good evening to you. What else we got? Now, Pinion, hello now. Hope Little Miss Now's okay. Peter, sorry, I can't see. Collings, good evening to you too. And Andy Donnelly. Martin H is present. A full to the negative 17, says the Snark. We want Arnold, says Gary. Yeah, well, he's got a chair to himself now. West Ham on or Mr. Sensible? Decisions. Oh, West Ham will, you can always watch it on the replay, can't you? Going back. Amy Horvath says, I'm your biggest fan. Thank you, Amy. Doofus Manfred. Basic trigonometry name win. Has Arnold had his biscuits? Listen, Turtle Moose. No, he hasn't. I was thinking about that today. I need Mrs. S there to help me, film because, well, whatever. But we got to have me there, she there, he there, and he hungry, all at the same time. And this, as I'm sure you understand, got a lot of other bits and pieces happening. So things have been a little hard. I haven't forgotten. They're kept nice and safe in low temperature storage. Who else have we got? Adrian Clark. Hello. There was Demon Orb. Beeble for Life. Hello. Yeah, cats can do that, says Gary Islewhite. Yeah, boy, can they do that. Multi-TomTom's TomTom didn't work and he got lost. Well, that's a shame. I don't know if anyone caught that, but Fight the Flat Earth had what really was an excellent premiere last night. His 50th Flurfs Are Idiots show with 7 guest creators, and I was one of them. And it was great fun. We each submitted a little video. It was very popular. Views have been good. Thoroughly recommend it. What I will do, my stream's locking up again. Is anyone else getting buffering or anything? Let me know. I will release my entry as a standalone video at some point soon. Treat Arnold to some shredded smoked salmon. Blimey. Well, he does get to eat better than I do. I'm lucky if Mrs. S lets me have what he's left. Sorry. Yeah, Snark says he's 86 kilograms. He may be a bigger fan. Oh, Snark. I like that. Yeah, Dave Simmons, I'm doing okay, thank you. And I do appreciate all the kind comments. Well, Mage has been fun lately. Who have we had? Actually, I can't even remember. We had Brandon Toy, who we'll be talking to tonight, who did nothing but cherry picking. We had Ranty Flat Earth, who used the wrong camera. Who else did we have? We had Level Earth Observer, who just said it wasn't demonstrable reality, and he obviously wasn't happy because there were no cranes involved. We had Failzoid FE, who was going on about relative density. I can't remember what else. And he had the wrong video. Oh, it's been nothing but derp. Absolute derp. But having said that, there were 2 that I want to give credit to, as you know. There was Flat Earth Institute of Science, Kyle Adams. Now, obviously, I'm saying he's totally wrong in what he said. However, it was respectful, and he did make reasonable attempts to try and meet the sensible requirements. At least he was looking at the right camera. At least he was looking at horizons that were across the centre of view. So honestly, I've got to give him credit for that. Beyond that, he came to what I would say the wrong conclusions. But that's fair enough. And then Brian's logic, who quite validly found out that, or spotted, and did a little bit of research, the temperatures were out on Mage. I hadn't really looked at it because that's not what we were up there for. We were up there to get some pictures of the curve, which we did. But he's got a hang up about those temperatures. So that was one of his objections. His other was the Earth not turning underneath, because flat earthers for some reason think the Earth's going to spin as soon as you get your feet off it with a drone or a helicopter or anything. That's flat earthers. That's not what we claim. You claiming that we claim that and then saying, aha, it doesn't, is not a win. It's stupidity. And we know that you'll keep going on about Coriolis. So I actually asked Brian to do a video about Coriolis. He read some strange wobbly definition of Coriolis, a mishmash, I think. I haven't looked at it too closely, but it appears to be a mishmash of some accurate bits along with some rubbishy bits. I've asked him where he got the definition from. I've not heard back yet, so that'll be done soon. And then I have this absolute corker. Oh boy, is it a corker. I think it will be Tuesday that I'll do it. Oh man, it's just hilarious. Like I said, it's the failures fail of ever. I mean, this guy actually said, there is no curved Earth because here's a little bottle of beer, that would be a better debunk than what he did. It's absolute tripe. Right, I better try and see what chats I can, comments I can see. This is really odd. I don't like this. I don't like it. They don't like it up 'em, Mr. Manring. They don't like it up 'em. Evening, Archangelus Lunae. Good evening to you. Rachie, hello there. See, bumped into you a few times. Good evening to you. Observer, but you're kind of sorry you included a wide-angle lens. Yeah, well, you would think that even the stupidest of stupid would not think that they could get away with that as a valid debunk. I mean, the wide-angle lens actually says Mage, full flight in glorious wide camo vision. Can anyone not tell that that's not my scientific results video? Quite apart from the fact it says wide cam above the camera, I introduce it and say this is the wide cam version. The description says this is the wide cam version, and in the video I say don't use this, it's the wide cam version. So they use the wide cam version. I mean, how stupid do you have to be? How absolutely ridiculous. Then I actually had someone, after I'd complained about Flatzoid, by saying, you're an idiot, Flatzoid. You've used the wide camera, despite me saying. Brian's logic said, well, it is my fault really because I put a wide camera version out there. It's nothing to do with it, Brian. Brian's done another response video or two. Thing is, it's about a half-hour video. That becomes a problem because it can only fit so much stuff in. It becomes a long, what's the word? Becomes a long response video. Now, I'm just going to try something because when Brandon turns up, things will have to change. But just for now, let's see if I can do this. Oh, come on, come on. Oh. Let's try this, Right. Hello, Mitch.
Hey, what's up?
I hope everyone can see. Can you just say hello again?
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, we got you. Hiya, Mitch. Good evening to you. What will happen is when Brandon does turn up, I'm going to have to drop you because it won't be done through Discord and I'll be going on to the Google Meets. But meanwhile, hello, I'm fine. How's Julie? And how are you?
She's well. She's I don't know where she's out and about somewhere. I'm just recovering from my work week.
Oh, right. So the weekend comes, you'll have some fun.
And it's Hanukkah.
Ah, is it indeed?
It's the second night of Hanukkah, yes.
Right, I know very, very. No, let me see, because I really don't know. Is that where there's something put on the door? The door frame?
No,
Oh, right.
no,
What
no,
was
no.
that?
All right,
That's
so
Passover, isn't it?
that's Passover.
Yes.
Hanukkah is a minor festival. It's not a holiday, quote unquote. It's a festival, which means we don't get the day off, basically. And it commemorates an alleged miracle, and I'm only saying alleged because I wasn't there to see it, where after the temple was ransacked by the Greeks, there was one jar of oil left for the candelabra that lit the interior of the temple, and it lasted for 8 days, which is the time it takes to make new oil for the temple. So it is a rather minor holiday around a relatively minor miracle, but somehow or another, Jewish parents were pressured into making it about presents. So we have something to participate in commerce around the Christmas season.
Never mind. Well, happy
But it
Hanukkah.
is,
If that's the way
thank
you
you
say
very
it, happy Hanukkah.
it is, and it is a minor festival. We don't make quite a fuss about it as Christmas, which is one of your big two holidays, I would venture.
Yeah, I suppose it's the largest, isn't it? With Easter being the second. Yeah.
So Christmas is fairly new to me because I've only experienced Christmas since I began dating Julie. Up until then, we really didn't celebrate it. It
No,
was
of
something
course
that
not.
everybody else did while we went to the movies and had Chinese food.
Yeah. Well, that's always a good call. I will just say though, Mitch, I've just had or in the past few minutes, I've had a couple of super chats. Robert Williams super chatted $2 US, saying Coriolis, the force of toilet water causing the Earth spin. I'd always wondered what the cause was of the Earth spin. I, I,
I
I yeah, I'm impressed with
gotta
this
be
new
careful.
science, Robert. You must develop this further.
Gotta be careful about that causality. And what's great is that the water pushes the Earth in the opposite direction from the other hemisphere. It's magnificent.
We could have a problem though if someone leaves a floater in there. But that's a worry for another day. And Judy Bassett super chatted €5. Didn't say anything. Thanks for the support, Judy. Appreciate it. Really do. Really do.
Hey, the Earth's a bit of a floater, Mr. S.
Oh man, we had arguments. Who was it? I can't remember who it was with. Going back perhaps a year back in time, sort of said something. Well, the Earth's floating in space, and they got hung up on that word "float" as though space is a medium like the water of the ocean. And honestly, what is it with all this getting hung up on a particular word all the time? Pick it. What's the word for that? I can't even think what the word is. When all you do is pick over the meaning of one particular word rather than address the actual argument. Anyway,
Oh, you're talking about semantics?
that's the word. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're here, Mitch.
I'm glad I'm here.
I'm glad you're here.
Although it's actually funny, that's actually a colloquial use for the word. The actual word semantics means the exact opposite, but that's okay. So
Well,
we say we argue semantics. What we're saying is that we're arguing about the argument, right?
right. This is turning into Inception now.
Yeah.
Hey, did anyone know? I assume some people did. Quite a while back, I did a video. I think it was about that guy when he did a video about me, and I did a video about him, and he did a video about that response, and it was an Inception. So I did an Inception video.
Right.
Do you remember that, Mitch?
That was quite some time ago, but yes, I do remember.
It was quite some time ago. That was good fun. I
Last
was
spring.
really pleased with that. And of course, back then, I had a fraction of the kind subscribers and that I've got
Yeah.
now. So basically, barely anyone saw it. So that's quite sad. Never mind.
Well, you know what you could do, which a lot of YouTube artists are doing, is rerunning premieres of some of the older videos that you did, some of which were fucking hilarious and are kind of lost in the mist of time because people don't
No.
generally like backtrack through the channel. Like nobody's going to go back to show number 6
Oh,
and
the old
see
show number
like.
6. I
But there
remember
was
when I
some
were a lad.
brilliant. There was some brilliant stuff
And,
that was in
and
the elder times.
the older times. Hello, boy
Like
Bible Saints.
last
Good evening
year.
to you. Yes, I remember back when I were a lad in episode 6 last year. Yes.
Now, it hasn't escaped my notice because these things don't generally escape my notice, and I think Multi-TomTom is gone.
Go
But
on.
his comment to my whole little story about Hanukkah was the comment he made was, "So Mitch is a Jew?" Question mark.
Oh, my goodness.
Now,
Well,
it seems I'm either a Jew or I suppose I could be a theologist, right? A theologist who studies comparative religion
well,
and happens to know about this minor
yes, that could be true
festival,
as
right?
well. But Multi-TomTom is still here. Multi-TomTom, who gives a monkeys whether Mitch is a Jew or not? Who gives a monkeys whether Mitch is a Jew who practices or not? It's none of your damn business, none of my damn business, and it makes no odds anyway.
Now, it would have been a whole other story if Multi-TomTom would have said, "Hey, Mitch, are you a Jew?" Because I would have said, "Yes, I am." And he might have said, Mitch, but you see, the way he does it is it's that little bit of skank, that little bit of
Mm.
like having poo under your nose type of skank that disguises the contempt that Multi-TomTom must have for Jewish people.
Yeah, Tom, I've got news for you. Jew is not a swear word.
Well, you see, that's the funny thing about the word Jew, because it all depends on how you say it. It's one of those words that completely depends on the context and how you say it. Because I could say, hey, Mitch sings for his synagogue. Oh, he's a Jew? Yeah, he's a Jew. And then it's kind of innocuous. But I could say, that Mitch, he's a real Jew. And now all of a sudden it takes on a completely different tonality. So I say there's definitely a pejorative sense to the word.
Sorry.
And flat earthers almost universally use that pejorative sense.
Yeah, sorry, Mitch. Multi-TomTom says
sorry.
people hate him. Well, I don't want to hate you, and I don't want others to hate you. But if you go round making comments like that, they will hate you. There is no requirement to like me or agree with me. There's no requirement to like or agree with Mitch. And there's absolutely no reason to give a stuff what my religion may or may not be, Mitch's may or may not be, and we don't give a stuff what yours may or may not be.
Here's the funny thing. But here's the funny thing, Mr. S. What Multi-TomTom probably can't come to grips with is that not only am I a scientist, which I am, but I'm also a Jew, which means I'm actually quite well versed in what Christians call the Old Testament that we call the Torah, which allegedly contains the alleged creation story, which allegedly claims that the earth is flat. And I can tell you, I have hung with the ultra Orthodox Jews, the most Orthodox Jews you'll ever meet, the most intense Bible scholars of Judaism, of Orthodox Christianity, of Roman Catholic Christianity. All of the heavy-duty biblical scholars agree that the earth is a fucking sphere and that there's nothing in the Bible that states equivocally what the shape of the earth is. That it is based on the information about the earth that was known at the time by the people who were there when the Bible was written. And
I mean,
at least 2,000 years before that, there's documented proof that people knew the earth was a sphere 2,000 years before the Old Testament was written down.
But going back to that time, and actually going back today, if you started off and said, right, I've no idea, I want to know what shape the earth is, going and looking out your window and thinking, that stuff looks flat, is probably a good first step, isn't it? Then you need to validate it. But after 2,000, 3,000 years, Tom, you don't seem to have got past that step.
That's called research.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the problem is we have actually quite a bit of historical and archaeological evidence that people knew long before the culture that settled in Israel, long before the Torah was written down, that the earth was a sphere. The Egyptians knew the earth was a sphere 800 years before the Jews came there. The Sumerians and Phoenicians knew the earth was a sphere 1,000 years before Abraham was born. It is not like it's not like we thought it was flat for a long time, and then all of a sudden Columbus came and we thought it was a sphere, and that's not how it came about. We knew it was a sphere from long before history was set down. It's so obvious. All you have to do is talk to any mariner, and they will explain to you how the earth is a fucking sphere based on the actual real observations of the world. So I think that's what's interesting. So his pejorative is kind of worthless in my esteem because he's talking to someone who knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, well,
so he can aim all the pejoratives he wants.
Yeah, but if he wants to aim his pejoratives, he can do that elsewhere. TomTom, as I hope I've been clear, just about the one thing I will not accept on my channel is hate speech. So that's racism, disableist hate speech, religious hate speech, and so on. Okay, you can disagree. You can I'll be honest. I don't. I'm not religious, so I don't think there's a God. Whether it's the God of the Jews, the Christians, the Muslims, whoever, I don't. But I'm not going to call people names based on the fact that they hold that belief, and I'm not going to accept it on my channel. Okay. Oh.
Well, because people who are racist believe that you can tell everything you need to know about someone by their religion or their skin color or the way they dress or the sort of hat that they wear or whether they have tattoos or not. All of these things are useless in telling anything about anybody. You have to know someone before you can hate them. That's what I always said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now Opinion has just super chatted 59 Swedish krona. Thank you very much now. Saying, in other news, Cape Canaveral Air Force Station is now officially called Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Now, I don't know if that's just messing around or if that has just been announced. Well, I don't suppose it makes much difference in the big scheme of things. My camera seems out of focus. Well, I've actually using this. Let me just. I'll have to be careful. It's on. What do you call it? On Google Meets, and it's got the background auto blurred slightly, which actually looks neat on the screen. But overall, yeah, because it's going through Meets, the picture quality has suffered a little. That may also be down to my internet connection. I did have some buffering earlier on. It seems to have stopped. So, gonna have to live with it,
okay.
I'm afraid.
A bit of a correction, Mr. S.
What's that?
Patrick Space Force Station has been renamed to, in other words, not the entire station is still called Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. Cape Canaveral Space Force Station is an installation on Cape Canaveral, and it was the Patrick Space Force Station up until yesterday. So they have not renamed it. It is the garrison of the 45th Space Wing, and it is my guess that President-elect Biden is going to deservedly dissolve this asinine Space Force that is a complete and utter waste of taxpayer money.
Right. Okay. You said that, Mitch. That's fine. I'm not going to go down politics. Well, I don't know all the ins and outs of American politics, of course. I am interested in it, but I don't want to do that on my channel. All right.
Sorry about that.
No need to apologise. You've made a point and said, okay, let's leave it at that. Right, what else have we got here? We got Safety Case. Oh, he was saying about my camera. Mohammed Shafiq, good evening to you. Snark. Oh, we got Gary Wybenga in there. Did I see Gary Wybenga? I thought Gary Wybenga was looking at Ranty's side. I don't know. Yeah, Multi-TomTom, do feel free to hop over to Ranty's channel and watch from that side, and hurl your abuse away at me. I don't care. Yeah. I can't remember how to switch it off. I tried it. Sorry, they're talking about this software blur. Let's have a quick try. Settings. Oh, no. If I'm not careful, I'm going to lose everything.
Well, I stand corrected. Apparently, they have officially Cape Canaveral Space Force Station has been renamed.
Well, there we go. And I've just changed that background, so let me know, people, if that's better or not. I don't think it makes a difference because I think overall it's still slightly blurry. So it has been renamed. Okay. There we go. I mean, that's really important. Oh, someone's...
It is.
My volume's still
low. I'm glad
low,
I'll be
is
able
it,
to
people?
sleep tonight.
I've had a couple...
Sound fine.
Yeah, well, yeah, I will to you. It's how it's picked up and broadcast, though. So hopefully, people, that's a little better. Evening, Bob Nadell's Gyroscope. Thanks, Bob. Right, Scythe Decay. Will I ask Brandon about why the corrected view from Mage makes the curve more obvious? Yeah, they don't seem to get that.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be an interesting few months. Oh, by the way, speaking of bad news, I now live in the county that has the highest number of new COVID cases in the United States.
Have you given them all your COVIDs, Mitch? Have you been spreading little COVIDs all over the place?
No, but I still have 3 friends that are active cases. I have lost 2 friends this week. It is a real mess.
Isn't it
just?
Mess. I mean, the good news is here we've just started on the vaccinations, and I understand they're about to approve the Pfizer-BioNTech one in the States as well, aren't they? But you've only got enough. Only got enough doses purchased for 3 million people, I believe.
Yes, well, unfortunately, that is 0.08% of the population.
Yeah.
But yes,
it's better than none, but it's not enough.
It's damn well near none. But yes, you're right.
Oh, B-Ball's
we'll manage.
B-Ball's informed that Brandon Toy Ranty aren't live at the moment. Could you, Tom? Link is in the description. Go on, jump in, because we got a chance. Let's get you on and have a chat. Come on to my Discord. And it's just you, me, and Mitch.
I'll even hush up.
Well, there you go, Tom. He said he'll hush up. Let's have a look. I need to make sure I'm looking at this. Yeah, so I'm looking out for Tom. Whoa.
Yeah.
And Mrs. S has just come in. Tea delivery. I don't know if Mrs. S wants to wave and say hello. Apparently she doesn't. Thank you for tea.
Hello, Mrs. S.
Oh. Yeah, you're on. There's a delay. That was Mrs. S's hand. There we go.
So are you a hobbit, Mr. S? You have tea at...
Well, right now, I've got a flask cup of tea. I've now got a cup of tea. And I've got a red stripe beer. All on the go at once. So I mix and match, really. I shall say good night to Mrs. S. Good night, Mrs. S.
Good night, everybody.
Right, so I don't know what's happening with Brandon and that. Yes, that was Mrs. S's hand, Brainery, thank you. Yeah, so I was looking out to see if Tom's jumped. No, Tom, you haven't jumped in there. You've only got to jump on that Discord link, go into the live waiting room, and I will pull you into Mr. Sensible Live, and you can chat with me or Mitch. Or not.
A real Jew, a real live Jew.
Wow. Are you sure you are, Mitch? Are you definitely live?
Hang on, let me check.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm a Jew.
Well, ask ask Julie if you're alive or not, or she not there.
Actually, Julie's a Jew too by choice, which is She's downstairs. You want me to go see if she wants to come up?
That's all right, mate. I'm only messing around. If she wanders up, then she's always welcome to say hello.
Yeah, she's actually a voluntary Jew. And what's actually interesting is that in our culture, when you become and you convert to Judaism, your parental lineage reverts. So you become an honorary son of Abraham and Sarah. So you actually take a name that you're the son of Abraham and Sarah, which is actually kind of cool. So we're taught that when people convert to Judaism, they actually become your relatives.
Wow. That's something else I didn't know.
Yeah, it kind of smothers that whole Mendelian genetics thing, but it's all good.
Well,
all in good fun.
Everybody, just let you know, Brandon and Brandon on Rantis channel is live in 28 minutes, and it does say Mr. Sensible versus Brandon Toy, and it is Brandon who I've been talking with. We were going to hold this last week, and I, had things come up, so I couldn't. I'm not sure if. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm not sure if Ranty is going to be around. It's not planned to be Ranty as well. It's planned to be me and Brandon. Message from Light Diode Neil. Can you get Mr. S to give a hi to anyone who might be listening from the Space Centre? Hi to anyone who might be listening from the Space Centre. Hey, I wonder if you can pick this up on
I hate to break
ISS.
it to you, Mr. S, but Einstein basically proved that we're already in space. So this whole notion about going to space is actually kind of silly. I mean, we happen to be very close to this planet, but we're still in space.
Well, I was going to say a distance and a name of a city, but I won't. But you think you're only about 80 miles from space, where you are right now.
Right.
So
I'm
it's
right
not far. It's not far at all.
And then it's mostly pretty much homogeneous after that first 80 miles. It's actually very, very unlikely to run into anything.
I mean, yeah, space is big, really big. I mean,
really,
you might think it's a long way down the road to the chemist, but that's just peanuts compared to space. Multi-TomTom won't debate or talk, and if he does, don't prove him wrong or he'll block you. Well, he can't really block me. He can't really block me because it's my channel. Although he's welcome to have a go. Oh, Ranty donated his channel to Brandon. Oh, right, because I did hear that Ranty was moving off from Flat Earth. I just thought that for whatever reason he was providing him with streaming capability. Oh, right, well, fair enough. Yeah. Can't say fairer than that then, can you? And I mean, it's a shame, really. I would like to actually just say hello to Ranty. I've never spoken to him, and I do have a couple of words to say to him. Hello, where's Wally? Do you know where you are, mate? Where is Wally? Or is it where's Wally? Sorry, video's gone. What video? My video? Oh okay, video's gone. I see. It's crazy. It should be coming back again. Yeah, it's this weird thing that if the window.
I thought you were showing us what space was like.
Yes, it should be. It should be back again. I am here. Let me just.
I thought it was like a royal institution talk about the vastness of space.
Yeah, if you guys can hear me, what happens is if the window with the Zoom meeting gets covered over, Chrome decides, I don't actually need to display the image, so OBS has got nothing to pick up. It's crazy. So it will be back again, I hope. Now Opinion, Swedish Krona 59. Ranty is doing a horror podcast on Spotify with conspiracy cats. 2020 is weird. Yeah, 2020 has been miserable. Absolutely miserable. I hope it's been a bit better for you, Mitch.
It started off really, really well. I got to make that awesome trip. Remember, I made the video in January for you when you were out for when your
Yes,
daughter got
yes.
married.
The wedding, yeah.
I got to take that awesome trip to Chicago and eat that pizza that
Yep.
I'll never forget, that deep dish pizza. I got to go to Houston for the first time and got lost in that big shopping mall. I couldn't find a bathroom. I got to go to Tel Aviv and Jerusalem for 3 days. I got to go to Poland for 3 days. I got to go to Boston for a couple of weeks, and I have literally been in this house since then.
Right, Mitch, I've got news for you and
That's
for everyone
big.
else. Multi-TomTom has arrived on my Discord. I'll just give him a few seconds. I'm going to pull him in and have a chat. Now,
All right.
Mitch, I don't know
I'm going to mute
Okay.
for the sake of humanity.
Okay. All right, let's bring Multi-TomTom in. Hello, TomTom. How are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can.
Cool.
It's all systems go.
It is. And I am really, really and honestly glad that you've come in. What I'll say is we've probably not got much time, okay? Hopefully just use this as a taster, see how you feel about being on here with myself, and then perhaps sometime we can actually arrange to have a chat about a particular subject or a sort of more formal debate, okay? For now, I'm just glad you come on.
Well, when Brandon turns up, you can just put me off because obviously this is you and Brandon show. So yeah, no problem.
Well, we won't be doing it on here on the Discord anyway. We're doing it on Google Meet, which I've got running at the same time. So at that point, I'll just have to leave this stream. Can I ask, TomTom? This is a genuine question. Why is it that you've decided tonight, of all the times I've asked you, why is it you've decided tonight that you'd come on?
Well, I didn't have Discord. I've deleted Discord for a long time and just reloaded or whatever last week. And I thought, because you keep asking me.
I do. Well, I really genuinely would like for us at some point to have a chat, a discussion, an argument, if you like. That's absolutely fine. About something, the flat Earth or the atmospheric gradient, or space is fake or not fake, or whatever. Perhaps we can have an argument. I don't actually. I don't suppose. Do you ever watch Fight the Flat Earth?
Sorry, say that again.
Do you ever watch Fight the Flat Earth channel?
No.
Oh, right. Well, yeah. Yesterday he had a special. It's his 50th special. Flurf's or what is it? Idiot things Flurf say, or something like that. I can't remember. And he had 7 creators invited, and I was one. And I got to hold my hands up, TomTom. I chose you. Okay, I did the thing about you. So you can go watch that if you want, or in a few days' time, I'll be doing it up on my channel.
I made it. I'm famous.
You are indeed. You're on Fight the Flat Earth channel. Oh, apparently I've got a Discord DM. Sorry, I don't think it's... okay. All right. TomTom, so, this is just been sent to me, okay? If you do not want to answer this, okay, because you just come on just to basically say hello tonight. So if you don't want to answer this, I understand, okay? But this is a serious question, okay? If I put this question to you.
Well, I keep saying, as the foremost flat earther on the globe today, I can answer any question that you guys have.
Okay, well, this isn't a flat. Let me put the question to you and see how you feel about answering it, okay? It's with regard to your Team Skeptic rap, Flat Earth, that you used the word spastic, okay? Which, I mean, I don't know, but I'm assuming that you're UK. I just feel, I'm not trying to dox you. If you don't want to say, that's absolutely fine. But in the UK... the word spastic is very much regarded as a disableist sort of hate word or whatever. Do you have any comment on that? I tell you what, I'm sorry. First of all, I'm not trying to trap you. Okay, I just I'll give you a chance to comment. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. Well, I don't believe in the PC culture that we have, not just in the UK, but all over the world now. We have to be politically correct, and I think that's bullshit. As a democracy, we should be able to say what we want, right? Obviously, not, we can't go around offending people. That's just not on. But with regard to the rap, team septic, you spastic, it rhymes. So that's
Well,
that's why I chose that word. But it rhymes with septic,
okay. Well, I mean, I would say that I believe in free speech, but you're right. You can't say absolutely anything. Like, for instance, shouting fire in a cinema. I mean, what if the word that rhymed was a racist word? Would that be okay?
Well, they've been using racism, like, for example, in the rap, hip hop, like, for years, and all of a sudden, it's a no-no. They say, oh, you can't say nigger, in a rap song anymore because that's not politically correct. It was all right for like 30 years for using that word, and all of a sudden, oh no, we're changing the world. We're moving away from that mentality. And I'm sorry, but I'm old school. I was born in a long time ago. I'm not I'm not a millennial. I can't even. I only had one beer. I can't even talk.
Millennium. You're not a millennial from the millennium. Okay.
Yeah. So
okay. All right. Well, listen.
Sorry. Going back to that word.
Yeah.
I only used it because it rhymes with it wasn't Team Skeptic. I made it Team Septic because.
No. I know you did. I know.
I call him Team Septic. Because obviously, I'm a funny guy. I believe in making people laugh. And obviously, it comes out most of the time. 99% of the times, it comes out wrong. But I mean, it was perfect. Team Septic, you spastic.
All right. I mean, I would have to say that I very much disagree with you. I'm going to give you credit for accepting the question and trying to defend your position. Obviously, I don't agree with you. But I'm not going to get into a big argument about it tonight because, like I said, this was just a chance for you to come and say hello. So I will thank you for that, Tom. But I would say, can you at least have a think again about the appropriateness of that? Will you think on it?
Well, I mean, like I said, they've been using the N word in rap and hip hop for like 30 plus years, yeah, and
well, they have, but that's. I'm not. Sorry, I'm not big on rap at all. But my understanding is, whatever the rights and wrongs are, that is, one black guy using it to another, not people using it as a put down. Okay. Well, it's a difficult. Well, this is part of the problem, though. That sort of thing is something that's very, very divisive, and let's face it does upset people. I mean, you used the N-word earlier on validly in a conversation because you weren't using it to describe anyone or to have a go at anyone. You were talking about the use of the word. So I didn't comment on it at all because that was an appropriate use, because it's not that you can never, ever, ever say that word, but it's what you're doing with that word. And the time earlier on you used that, I felt, that's fair enough. That's an appropriate use. But if you were going on and said so-and-so is a whatever, that's not appropriate, and that would be hate.
Yeah, I mean, I use that word often in chat, for example, be ball for life. We have this thing going. It's not really hatred. I mean, he can vouch for it. He'll say, "Oh, that's okay," because it's done in a like comical sense. It's for a laugh. And obviously, I get timed out because it's not accepted. Because I mean, he knows that I'm not being nasty. It's just one of those things. It's like you said earlier, when two black guys call each other niggers, that's okay. It's become a figure of speech, kind of.
Can I ask you? And actually, this doesn't matter at all. And if you don't want to say, you don't have to say. Can I ask you what your ethnic background is?
No.
Well, no, you don't want to say.
No.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. I'm not pushing. I just wondered. I have had a couple of super chats. I've not read them yet, so I don't know if either of them are about you. Let's just go back. Mitch Goldstein, super chatted $3 US, said, "I feel I'm going at 1,000 miles an hour, don't you?" Thanks for that, Mitch. Robert Williams, super chatted $5 US, said, "As the foremost authority, it's the first day of spring. You look to 0 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds, right ascension, and 0 degrees declination. You see?" Well, thanks for that, Robert. I don't know where that came from, but there we go. And now Pinion super chatted 59 Swedish krona, said, "Being PC is being considerate. Why is it so horrible being considerate and polite? I don't get it. I feel old." So what do you think about PC, TomTom?
Well, it's the change is like sudden. What they should do is, actually, what they're doing now, they're resetting the world. With this CV thing. I don't know if you agree or not. But
Sorry, COVID. You're talking about?
Yeah, they're resetting the world. What happens again? You're going to call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but what happens is every few years. By the way, do you know that American guy? His name. He was a top of the ladder Freemason. He said we need World War III to reset. I forgot his name.
I don't know either, but it sort of rings a bell. But what you must remember is, if one individual happens to say something, that doesn't mean that that's what society, the government, the army, whoever thinks. It's just what one guy thinks, rightly or wrongly. Someone has asked me to point out to you, TomTom, with regard to freedom of speech. That's all very well, but you actually don't have freedom of speech on YouTube. I mean, for instance, on this channel, I could mute you or boot you, but then YouTube themselves could decide to do that if they wanted, couldn't they? Because it's their platform.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, censorship is like censoring flat Earth. I mean, nobody can deny that Google and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and everybody's censoring flat Earth because we're dangerous. We're trying to reset the world. We're trying to change the world. Trying to get rid of all the bullshit in the world. I mean, for example, space. You can't go to outer space like Star Trek or Star Wars shows you. Space is fake. So when we say that, you guys said, why would NASA spend billions of dollars trying to fake space? It doesn't make any sense. And you have to go back and watch my videos. I've explained it. What happened? It's like in the late 1950s, like 57, 58, they've had something called the geophysical year, where
geophysical year,
all the scientists came together all over the globe, and what they found was that indeed the Earth was flat and stationary.
But they came all over the globe, did they, TomTom? But actually, if I can just interrupt you there for 1 second, I'll let you continue. Someone has come up with a very, very good suggestion. Your rap song? An alternative line. I hear Team Skeptic. I'm apoplectic. As you know, you're steaming angry about him. So there is other words you could
No,
use.
sorry. My vocabulary is limited. I've never heard of apoplectic.
Apoplectic.
Sorry.
APOPLECTIC. Okay,
I
well,
can't use that because 90% of the audience won't get it either. So it's not valid.
sorry, Tom, you are breaking up quite a bit. I don't know. Are you on a poor connection or on your mobile phone or something?
Yeah, my internet is really bad. Sorry about that.
No need to apologise. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let me go back to 1957-58, the International Geophysical Year. What they found out was that the Earth was indeed flat and stationary, and this has to do with I don't know if you know about Admiral Byrd.
Oh yes.
This might sound conspiracy theorist like, but what they found was that there is an edge.
Oh, did they? Did no one think to take a photo of it then?
There is an edge. It's at 90 degrees south and 90 degrees east.
Basically, you're talking about the pop. Did no one take a photograph of it though, since they were there and they found this edge, Tom? Or have a peek over the edge and see what there is?
You can make the jokes afterwards. Let me finish. What happened was they came together. Oh, don't forget the what they call the United Nations, right? They were formed in 1946, straight after World War II, and they were created as a body to rule the world. They're like the one world government of the world. Like, everybody has to go through the United Nations, right? And then when they found out that the Earth was indeed flat and stationary, they created NASA in 1959, or was it 58? 58, 59. And
are you laughing because you don't believe this yourself, Tom?
I'm laughing because I can see. I don't know if your feed is a bit late, but I can see you laughing as well.
I'm laughing.
You don't believe a word I'm saying.
Yes.
You don't believe a word I'm saying.
No, I don't. But I hope you'll see. No, I don't believe it, but I'm not being rude, nasty, or muting or booting you or anything like that, just for holding a different view.
So then they created the Atlantic Treaty. Initially there was 59 countries.
So,
and
what treaty?
The Antarctic.
Okay. Have you read it?
1959. Oh, it's a very long document.
No, it isn't. Yeah. It isn't very long at all. There's about off the top of my head, I think there might be 12 to 17 articles. Each one's only a paragraph or two. It's not a very long document, honestly. The whole thing's available on Wikipedia.
Yeah, basically what they're saying is like civilians can't go there because they'll find things that are otherworldly. Like, for example, they will find that the sun, the sun is quite strange down there. You can see the real sun, the physical sun. Like what we see is not the physical sun. What we see is the vortex energy created by the sun. The sun is twirling, right? It's rotating at a very high speed.
No, it's rotating. You can see the speed because you can see sunspots and track them over hours and days.
No. Not your sun. Your sun is the heliocentric sun. That is like 93 million miles away. That is not the real sun. That is created in a model. It's created in the heliocentric model. It was created by.
I mean, if I go out in the summer, it's up there and it feels very hot. And
yeah,
bright.
It's very close. Yeah, that's because
it's not
very close. The sun is in the sky. Sometimes it's in between the clouds. You can see it. If you have 20/20 vision, you can see the sun.
Can I ask you then, Tom? How many times has an aircraft had a near miss with this sun that's in the clouds at times?
Well, actually, there is a video where a pilot is filming,
Yeah.
and he shows the sun beneath him. No, the sun is
Yeah.
under.
Do you know why?
So yeah, I know why, because the sun it travels in a like a sine wave kind of pattern, up and down on a daily basis,
And would
right?
that be at sort of the time of sunset and it's actually lower than the aircraft and then it's shining upwards through the clouds, TomTom, which actually would support a globe Earth?
Sunset is perspective. Sunrise and sunset are perspective.
Okay. What happens when something disappears into the, prospectively, it gets smaller. The sun remains
You
the same angular size throughout the day. It
you do know
also
that
goes the same speed, 15 degrees per hour. Thanks, Bob. You think of a
you do
car racing.
listen.
If you're stood at the side of a motorway, car drives past you, whoosh, it's straight past you. But as it goes the distance, it appears as though it's going slower and slower and slower. That doesn't happen with the sun. It maintains
Actually,
the exact same speed across the sky from when it first appears to when it last sets.
I'm doing a video at the moment entitled "Jupiter has no moons and Saturn has no rings."
Oh,
It's it explains like retrograde motion because like you guys don't know that stars, stars, certain constellations have different orbit, different they don't fully orbit. For example, uh, the moons around Jupiter, they're not moons. They're actually stars that have a shorter circuit than the other stars.
well,
So
TomTom,
that's
I am
so
going to have to.
that's why you see retrograde with the stars and the planets.
Yeah,
The
TomTom.
planets are not planets. Planets are
And I'm going to
are
have to stop you, TomTom, because Brandon's just gone live. People have just
oh
heard weird noises. That's their stream, which I had open. So, TomTom, I'll say, would you like for the two of us to get together to arrange a date that's suitable for both you and I, so we can have a good long chat about some of this stuff? I would like that. Would you?
yeah, sure, no problem.
Excellent, excellent. So I hope you. Yeah, I laughed. I'll be honest and open. I find some of the ideas weird and wacky, but I'm not going to sit here and just swear and cuss and mute you. Okay. So hopefully now you'll feel a bit happier about that. I mean, I understand where you could be coming from, but yeah. So hopefully we can arrange something. So could I ask? I know you did email me that previous time. I did reply. We had a couple backwards and forwards, and then I ended up losing your email. So I apologise for that. But if you could email me, then we could try and sort it out. Yeah.
Yeah, after laughter comes ridicule. So the 5 stages, right?
Okay. Okay. Well, let's see where we get to. Okay. You can have a think about it. We can get in touch. We can decide what we want to talk about, whether it's, I don't know, sunsets or space is fake or whatever. We'll agree, and then you can pull some thoughts and evidence together. Okay, it doesn't have to be a formal debate, but you know what I mean. Because right now this is all, off the tip of your tongue for you, and the same for me, really. Okay, so it might be better if we've had a chance to think about it. Okay, how's that sound?
Okay, no problem.
Cool.
Yeah, no
Well,
problem at all.
I am going to say thank you, TomTom, for your behaviour on this stream. All right, I would ask, and you'll get more out of it, to not make some comments like you did earlier on about Jewish people, perhaps. Okay, when you're in the chat, I don't want to see anyone timed out.
No, all I did was
Well,
ask, is Mitch a Jew? That's it.
okay, okay, and
There's
well,
nothing else.
if I didn't see it, okay, so if that was all that was asked, that's fair. Hold on one second, TomTom, I'm going to have to say good night because Brandon Toy's just appeared. Okay,
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 thank you.
thanks very
Cheers.
much. You take care.
Bye-bye.
You take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
Right, so let's just mute everything here and go across. Sorry about that, Brandon. Hello, hello. Have we got a Brandon Toy there? Hello. Oh, he might be sorting out. Let's see. Oh, I've got to make sure I've got all this switched on here as well. Get the sound sorted out. Desktop audio's on. Right, so Brandon came in and he went back out again. I don't know if there's an issue.
Hold on. I should probably unmute. Can you hear me?
Hello, Brandon?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you. You jumped into the Zoom meeting and disappeared. Is that because you don't want to appear on camera or something?
No. I'm fine with camera. I just hadn't turned it on yet. Shoot. You can't hear me very well, I take it?
No, I can now. I couldn't before. So I've got your stream open just to have a look, and I can see you've got me there and you've got yourself. But let me go back to my stream. And on the Zoom room, I can't see you. It says there's two people. It says Brandon is also here, but you're not physically appearing.
Camera seems to be working.
Unpinned. Aha. I had myself pinned. So let's. I think I'm getting there. I'm not really up to this Zoom stuff.
No, that's all right. No problem.
I've got both of us. I don't know if you have as well.
Excellent. I do. I have myself in the corner. Yes.
Excellent. So, how are you?
Good. How are you doing? I was just listening to your show.
Thank you. And I had Multi-TomTom on. It's the first time he's come on. We've tried to encourage him lots of times. He has come on tonight, for which I'm grateful. I did mention to my viewers earlier on, I don't know if you have to yours, this is almost like a co-host situation. Obviously, one of us had to open the Zoom room, and I started first, so I have. So technically, I've got all the permissions to do everything, but we're treating this equally, aren't we? So,
Yep, sounds good. I'm not too worried about it.
Well, I'm a fair person. From what I've seen, you're a reasonable person too. I'm not foreseeing any problems at all. So hopefully we can have a chat about stuff. We should be able to present. As I said, I'm not a whiz with Zoom, so if I screw up, that's just a screw up. It's nothing more than that, okay?
No problem at all. We'll figure it out.
Someone told me, because I said, I understand Brandon's on Ranty's channel. Someone said that Ranty had donated his channel to you. Is that correct? Or
yeah, I don't know if donated is the right word, but I guess it's as good as any. Ranty decided that he wanted to move on, do other things. He's got a new channel called Almost Unbelievable with conspiracy cats. And they're talking to different people, interviewing them about strange things that have happened to them.
Ranty is with cats about this.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty crazy.
Well, sorry, I've just adjusted the screen sizes. I don't know if you probably didn't, but earlier on in the stream, I gave a shout out to Ranty. Actually, I'm getting muddled up. It might be in a video. But anyway, I've given a shout out to Ranty because he does seem like a good guy. Obviously, I disagree with him totally, but he seems like a nice guy, you know.
Ranty is a very good guy, a very stand-up guy. Yep.
Good.
I can't say enough good about him.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. I have a problem with you, though, sir.
Yeah, that's what I hear. So, yeah, you invited me over here.
Yeah.
What exactly? I might have an idea of what you're talking about, but what exactly is your issue?
Yeah, the issue is Mage, because obviously you're coming from a flat Earth side. Yeah, I know that, but it's with Mage. The problem with Ranty when he did it, he was looking at the wrong camera. You were looking, I believe, at the correct camera. Probably, it's going back a little while. I don't think it was from the actual experimental video. It's from the full-length uncut, but it was the right camera. However, all the images you chose...
1 second, we might have some issues with the sound here.
Okay.
Are you guys telling me in the chat that you cannot hear Mr. Sensible? Let me just check this real quick.
Well, I can see that Helen Degenerate says Mr. Sensible looks like a bold nonce. Not in a nasty way, though.
Yeah, I saw that. Let me see if he's got if we have a problem here with the stream.
I'll just check on my side. Can people let us know? Is the sound all okay?
Yeah, I saw that. Let me see if... Here, 1 second. Yeah, that's what I hear. So... Yeah, for some reason you're not coming through. 1 second, and let me figure this out. What's going on exactly? I don't know why. Probably the way that I have the audio set up. Sorry, guys. I apologize.
That's all right.
Let me see what I've got going on here.
Apparently, my audio video is good at this end. Can everyone hear Brandon okay at my end?
Oh, shoot.
Sound is fine.
Let me see if this will work.
Okay. I know what it's like, Brandon. I know what it's like, so don't you worry. Yeah, I've got Bob the Science Guy at my end. Good evening, Bob. He says that we both sound good at my end. So what I could say, Brandon, is send everyone over to watch it on my channel.
No, hold on a minute. Let me see if I can figure this out real quick. For some reason, this isn't picking up my my audio options for some reason, and it's just coming through the chat.
What is this? Grabbing the feed from the Zoom meeting?
Yeah, I think
I had exactly the same problem. I had exactly the same problem earlier on. Yeah.
Let me see if I can just fix this real quick, and we'll go do this really quick. Hopefully I can.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll have a look. I do have a super chat to read out, so I'll just do that. This was prior to us joining up. It's from Andrew Garner for £4.99. Thank you, Andrew. Saying, up next on Multi-TomTom's channel, a Love Thy Neighbour watch along. Yeah, TomTom, if you're still around, thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, sorry guys. Just 1 second.
That's all right.
No, go ahead. Let me mute you, and I'll figure this out, and I'll be back.
He's gonna mute me. He's gonna mute me. Well, that's not fair, is it? So anyway, we are obviously nearly hooked up with Brandon Toy. Let's have a look. What have we got here? Mr. Sensible. Simply tell the guys to start Mr. Sensible stream as well and listen to that one. Oh, that's a good idea. Can you hear me, Brandon? Hello, Brandon.
Yeah, I can hear
you. Yeah. What you could do, if there's an issue, leave them watching your stream, but they could open my stream as well. Watch yours, but listen to mine. To get the sound is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So that is one option, although then there'll be delays.
Unfortunately, that... Right, yeah, I get you. 1 second, let me see if I can just... shoot. Yeah, it's not a quick fix, I don't think, unfortunately. I should have thought of this before. I do apologize for that.
Don't worry, it's not a problem.
Try one more thing, and then we'll get going. And if we got to do it on your channel, we've got to do it on your channel, which is unfortunately. Okay, 1 second. Oh, it's so frustrating. Let me just give this a try.
I do get my people often taking the mickey out of me, saying I'm screwing up the sound. I keep telling them I'm professional. I don't do that. It's not the easiest thing, is it, Brandon?
No, it's definitely me screwing it up. No, it's definitely me screwing it up. Let me just check real quick. I think I might have it. Come on now.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Okay, let me just check the stream, and if not, we'll just have to do it on your channel. Unfortunately, I have it.
No, I just heard myself come back.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Okay, let me. Oh, yep, there you are. I got you now.
Okay.
Yeah. Give me a thumbs up. Oh, thank God. I already lost the debate. So now that I lost the debate,
yeah, that's right. And you've conceded everything, Brandon. Job done, I'd say.
Absolutely, got it. Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for sticking in there. Sorry about that. I'm looking at the screen like they're right there. Hey, thanks guys. Go ahead.
Okay, all sorted then. All sorted. Right, back to the top then. So we were talking about Mage. The issue I had, because you and Ranty were both on the same stream, I think, talking about it, weren't you? Was that right?
Yeah. We were taking the piss out of Ranty or Rumpus. Yeah.
Yes. So even though he was saying a lot of things that were sensible, but then Ranty kept on using the wrong balloon, the balloon cam, which was a camera there. It was a wide-angle camera. It was only there to look upwards at the balloon. It was not the experimental cam. You did use the correct camera from the full-length video rather than the experimental video where I'd cut things down time-wise, made some explanations, claims, showed some evidence, whatever. But then you took a number of shots, each of which were sort of diagonal, one way or another, so crossing from distorted area through to distorted area, basically rendering them worthless. You know that I did do a Mage response video. I don't know if you actually saw it. Did you?
I did. It's been a couple of weeks, but yeah, I watched it. Yep, and I watched your videos, and I checked out the Mage 2 footage. So, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. So, your major complaint, it sounds like so far, is that we were looking at the footage from the wrong camera feed.
Well, that was it for Ranty, yeah. With you were looking at the right... Basically, 1 second. Meet Mage. This is Mage. You can see the 2 strings, yeah?
Yep.
So, if you've got footage with those 2 strings, which as you can see are spring-loaded, you're looking at the correct camera. The balloon camera was pointing up here. The wide-angle camera is pointing out its arse. And that was just there for a good view because we're up there. So, it's the this camera here with the string lines in front. That's what we need to see. Okay?
Okay, well, let's talk about that footage then. So you've got your Mage, you've got your contraption there with the strings, and you sent your video up, and I think you've done maybe, I don't know, a dozen videos in which you proclaim that you have captured the curvature of the Earth with your footage?
Well, I did an experimental video. I did from launch to landing with the experimental camera to show that I'd done no cuts or edits or cheats. So basically you actually see me let it go, the full flight, it lands on the grass, it actually sits there for 30 minutes until I appear to pick it up. So you know that there's no cuts. Then I also showed the wide angle camera. Yeah, I showed the wide angle camera just so that people can get a good view. No good to determine flat or curve, but just for a good view. And since then, I'd done one other where I showed satellite imagery, which was from the same date and time, which matched the clouds that Mage saw to prove that it was actually up there. And since then, there's been a number of debunk attempts. There was yourself, there was Ranty, Level Earth Observer, Flatzoid again, and a couple of others. And so I've done a response to each of those.
Okay. Yeah, so my original, how I came across your footage was a couple of your trolls were in my chat saying, Mage 2 proved the curvature of the Earth. And, I found that funny to begin with because we've sent many high-altitude balloons up before. Flat Earthers, globe Earthers, neither have sent them up many times. So we've all seen this footage from 120,000 feet, maybe even a little higher. So that kind of made me chuckle to think that they thought that you had finally given us the evidence that was going to prove the curvature and the globe. And then I ran across Fight the Flat Earth versus some Poe, I think it was. I can't remember who he was. He was one of those guys that he sets up to beat around for 2 hours and ridicule and laugh at flat earthers. So anyway, during this, he brought up that one particular image which I showed on the stream you're speaking about, which has the horizon down below the bottom string.
Yeah, let me be clear. You can use the word horizon without me jumping on you and saying, ha-ha, okay? Okay, yes, we've got the horizon down below the bottom string, yeah.
Yeah. What you say is the horizon is down below the bottom string. And I just thought that was funny that he's showing this picture of the horizon under the bottom string and claiming that proves the curvature of the Earth. I just thought the whole thing was ridiculous, the idea that you guys think that you have captured a horizon that shows curvature and that proves the globe. So since then, I've analyzed it in much more detail, and I've got some things we can talk about. But do you think that you actually captured the curvature of the Earth? Is that your stance, that you have scientifically proven it?
Scientifically is a big word. I'm not a scientist, okay? What I would, because someone picked me up and said, that's not science, it's a demonstration. Look, as far as I'm concerned, whether you call it observation, demonstration, science, it doesn't matter. What it is I sent up a balloon with a camera, took some images. What do those images show? Okay? Now, those strings are there as reference lines. They are in the image. You saw that. You can see that the strings... Oh, where are we? The strings are a fair distance away from the position of the camera. Okay? So any distortion that the camera has distorts the strings. They're just something else that it's filming. So the idea was to have a narrow angle lens. I appreciate I might be teaching you to suck eggs, but just to be clear, a narrow angle lens to get rid of that whole argument of a wide angle lens where you see the horizon bending and flexing like that on lots of those high altitude balloon flights, because most of those high altitude balloon flights are just going up there for other reasons, or even silly reasons like let's take some garlic bread up there. I went up there with a specific reason of trying to image the shape of the Earth, whatever that shape is, flat, spherical or dodecahedron. So a narrow angle lens camera will have some distortion. Every lens has distortion to a greater or less extent. But by having those strings, you can see how much the distortion is. And in fact, in the video, even you see those strings, they are straight, they are taut because they're spring loaded. But in the video, there is a slight curve to them because of the distortion. So we know that there is some distortion. I wasn't hiding that. So there's a couple of things you can do. You can take that image with a slightly distorted string, undistort the image, which is not a dodgy thing to do. You undistort the image and then see what the horizon of the Earth is. Is it flat? Is it curved? Whatever. But with barrel distortion, you know that at the top, if we use my screen image here, at the top it gets bent like that. At the bottom it gets bent like that, yeah?
No, it's not just the top and the bottom.
No,
right?
no, it's sides as well. It's sides as well,
sides,
yes. Yeah. But we're working with a horizon from side to side, okay? So if the horizon is bang in the middle and it's a flat horizon, it will appear flat. If it's a curved horizon, it will appear with a curve. Now, the higher up the field of view you get, the more it will get distorted. Even a flat Earth would get distorted slightly, wouldn't it? Because of the barrel lens distortion. If the flat Earth was down lower, it would get pushed down. Yeah? I'm saying we've got a slightly curved Earth. If you go high, it will look even more curved. If you take that slight curved Earth, go down, it would try and flatten it. Now, that's what we got, because we got the string bowed down, but we got the horizon still bowed up. If it was a flat Earth, how did it bow upwards when the deflection, the distortion, is downwards? That's why they showed that bottom image. Excuse me.
Yeah, so I understand your hypothesis.
Okay.
And I would say that this is all predicated on the idea that what you have captured is, in fact, the horizon. So I have a question for you, if you don't mind.
Of course not.
Based on some other document that I've seen passed around. And I don't necessarily stand behind what this says, but let me just share it on my screen and with you. And we can see what your thoughts are on this before we go any further. 1 second here. Okay. And let me share.
Well, while you're just working it out, apparently Flatzoid is in your chat. Hello, Flatzoid. You're going to do another Mage debunk, or just remain 3 times on the list? Right, here we go. Brandon's presenting.
Okay, hopefully you can see my screen
I
now.
can see the sort of mesh sphere. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Are you familiar with this
I've never
diagram or this line of thinking at all?
Let me just resize. I'm just resizing this and hope it doesn't screw up everything I've got. Let me just have a try. 1 sec.
I can make the top bigger.
Oh, it's just disappeared again. Did you just switch it off?
Okay, I won't touch it again. Nope, it's still on.
Now it's come back. Yes, it is a bit bigger. Oh, now it's gone again. Right, I'm not going to move either. Ever wonder what... Oh, it's coming and going. It keeps... Oh, it says pause due to network problems. It appears and disappears.
Oh, you're having some network problems,
well,
maybe?
I wasn't. But go on. It's there.
All right, well, I'll try to describe it and get to the point. Hopefully you can see it in between.
Okay.
So there is a school of thought within we'll call it the globe community, that you can view the horizon from certain heights. This document would say that horizon circumference approaches 90% of their circumference at about 5140. Unless the observer is very high, more than about 80 miles, the curvature he sees down below is just the curvature of the horizon circle, not the curvature of Earth. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, I know what you say. Like as though you were over a flat disc. That's what you say. That curve is the edge of a disc, in effect.
Okay.
Is that what this means? Sorry, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So it looks flat from the side. You have to go up 80 miles in order to see any curve.
So
that's how I interpret this document.
I'll be honest and say I am not a mathematician. I do know that a very good person who's excellent at maths. You heard of Walter Bislin, I presume, the guy who does.
I'm familiar with Walter Bislin's, of course.
Yeah, who did the Earth curve calculator and things like that. He has taken those Mage images and used his Earth curve calculator, whatever. It's worth having a look at his site, and the curve matches what Mage shows against those altitudes that Mage reports.
Yeah, I understand that you think you've matched the horizon curvature with the curvature in certain frames from your video, but what I'm asking you is, are you of the school that you can see the Earth curvature at what height? What height would you say you have to go up before you can actually see Earth curvature? I'm just trying to understand where your head's at in relation to being able to see the geometry of the Earth were it a ball.
I suppose I couldn't put a height on it. I really couldn't, because even at the height Mage was at, which is 37 3/4 kilometers, 23 miles, whatever, it's not a lot. It's not going. It's not like you're going to look up there and wow, look at that ball. It's only slight. We're only talking about a few degrees of curvature, because even with those images, the best of those images, you can think and look at them and think, do you know what, that does look curved, but it's only when you put a line across it you can see the curve. Prior to that, it's not glaringly obvious. So I suppose technically you could probably see it from lower down, but you'd need better equipment or whatever, and very good conditions. But I couldn't put what that height is. I wouldn't know.
Are you of the school that it's possible, theoretically, if you had really great equipment and a really clear day, for you to see the curvature of the Earth were you standing on a beach looking out over the ocean?
I think, well, I suppose in the strictest technical sense, I would say yes, but I think in reality the answer is no, because you just couldn't be that accurate. And of course, what we often hear is people saying, well, why isn't there a curve? The problem is, if you're sort of 20-mile distance there, if I look over there, the horizon's again 20 miles. It's like looking, putting a hula hoop around your head. It's going to look the same distance all the way. You're not going to see that as curve.
Right, so you go up higher, you see further.
Yes.
And then in your mind, you'd see the slightest curve possible at ground level, let's say 6 feet off the ground. Let's assume it was perfectly flat. Would you see, if you could measure it optically, would you be able to see a curvature from that down below? Meaning you would be looking out, the horizon would be Earth curvature at that height, or is there some height above that you have to go before you see the curve of the Earth?
Well, you're talking about ideals here, ideal conditions, ideal measuring instruments and so on. Have you seen that photograph? I've forgotten who it was, with 2 spirit levels, and he takes one photograph and you can see the curve. I mean, it's going to be there, but I mean, you're talking, the slightest bit of refraction, I know it's going to be a dirty word, but do you know what I mean? The slightest disturbance in the atmosphere and you're going to screw it. I honestly, it's not trying to get out of anything, but I honestly don't think it's something that's worth worrying about, because anything that could be measured is going to be so tiny that there's no chance of seeing it by hand. For some reason, I'm only showing. Let me see if I can. What have I done?
Oh, do you still want to see this? I'm sorry.
No, it's not that. I can only see Oh right, you've got the presentation. Can you stop presenting? Is that all right? It's just that all I've got is it just says presentation Brandon Toy. It's not showing anything else.
Yeah. I think we're good with that. So okay, but at some point, as you rise up in altitude, you will be able to see the curvature. That's what your entire thing is predicated on.
Yes, yeah. You go higher, and you might be able to.
Then the curvature will be. You will have the ability to see the geometric edge of the Earth.
It will get more and more obvious until, for instance, if you're at the distance of the moon, it's a little. It's what 4 times the size of our moon in the sky. Do you know what I mean? Yes, you get higher and higher. It will look more and more curved until it's a circle some distance away from you.
Okay. All right. I understand. So I think I know where you're coming from. So my next question would be, how did you determine that what you were looking at was the geometric horizon in your Mage 2 footage?
How do you mean? Whichever direction it was pointing. Okay.
No, I understand how you determined that the shape was either curved or flat or concave, convex, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
I'm asking you how you determined that what you were measuring was the horizon, the geometric horizon of the Earth.
Okay. Well, the only other thing it could be, I guess, would be the atmosphere, wouldn't it? Can you think of anything else it could be?
Essentially the atmosphere, darkness, particulates in the air, water vapor, that sort of thing.
Okay. So let's say we're looking forward. We've got what is apparently a curve, but could be due to clouds, atmosphere, whatever. Why is it when I look over there, I get the same curve, and over there I get the same curve? You know, if looking in that direction there was a lot of clouds piled up, or whatever, despite the fact we're way, way above them, why is it exactly the same over there? Exactly the same over there.
Well, you've got the same dynamics no matter which direction you're looking at outside of the clouds.
If it was the same
I'm
everywhere.
not talking about clouds. So the atmosphere is from the ground level up. It's a certain density, right? It's got a certain
gradient,
certain particulates in there. Yeah, it's a gradient. So from the ground up, it's heavier and as more dense, and as you go, you can calculate from your position around you.
So
how much atmosphere is, say, 100 yards away, miles away from you? You could calculate that no matter. That's going to be generally the same value. So you do have kind of a circle of sight around you, and that's what you did. You sent a camera up and it spun around and looked in all directions. I would expect to see very similar effects from atmospherics in any direction that you looked.
In which case, surely you've just busted yourself in that if it was identical conditions in every direction, it would look like a flat circle around you, wouldn't it?
Why would it look like a flat circle?
If I'm looking straight at you and you are at the peak of that curve because of atmospheric, why is it slightly lower there and slightly lower there? Because slightly the conditions are the same there.
I get what you're saying. Slightly lower. What do you mean slightly lower?
What, bent down? Why would it bend down if the conditions over there are the same as the conditions there, the same as conditions there? Surely everywhere would look the same.
Well, it'll look the same in a distance, in a radius around you, right?
But it didn't.
So wherever you look, if you look 100 yards to your right, it's going to look the same as if you look 100 yards to your left.
Yeah, it was actually looking about 400 miles, I think it was, 700 kilometres.
Is that what you calculated, 400 miles?
That's what it is. I think it is. It's rough, that sort of order from that height, yes.
I don't think so, but...
we know so because, and obviously I can't expect you to have known this, but it's using GPS trackers, so it receives signals from satellites, broadcasts its position. That's picked up on the ground by radio stations, radio receivers. People who are into high altitude ballooning. So when we took off, there was only the local tracking station, if you like, could see it. As we go higher, tracking stations further and further away could pick it up. And let me see. Oh, actually, it's going to be too hard for me to show.
Hold on a minute. So you're saying, what is this about GPS?
Right.
How did you determine the distance that you could visually see from Mage 2 using GPS?
Right. If you know exactly where you are, okay, let's pick. You're in America, okay, Now, let's pick some, I don't know, let's say you're in Chicago, for the sake of argument. I have no idea if you are right, but let's say you're in Chicago, okay? And you're a height of, you're launching a balloon in Chicago. So your balloon picks up signals, GPS signals, just like your sat-nav does, okay? So it says, you're in Chicago. You broadcast the signal and say, hey everybody, I'm in Chicago. But you're virtually at ground level. That signal's not going to get very far. When you're a couple of miles up, your radio signal can be received by stations further and further away. When you're 10 miles up, stations further and further away, until you're 23, 24 miles, whatever Mage was at, it can be picked up by stations 400 miles away. They can't pick it up until you're high enough because the curve of the Earth's in the way.
Was it picked up by any further stations that 400 miles, or what was the capability of the GPS transmitter or whatever you used up there?
It's only a tiny little transmitter. It uses just a single AA battery. 1 second. Fits in there. This was one of the 2 trackers. This one dangled.
So how far?
This was the backup tracker.
How far was it? How far was it capable of transmitting?
Well, there's no limit as long as there's nothing in the way.
Well, did you attempt to pick it up further than 400 miles away?
Well, we can't attempt. We're just broadcasting from that height. Other enthusiasts who are tracking balloons pick it up from wherever they happen to live. So
who picked it up?
Well, I don't know. I don't know who they are, but they just give their locations, and then what they do, you see, is having picked up the signal, they upload it to a tracking server. Okay, so what we've got, so that's our telemetry data. When we've finished, we go to the tracking server and say, yep, this is our balloon, can we have the data? And we get all the timestamps and locations that were reported by various people around the country. I started to say, but I did a video that shows satellite views from 3 independent weather satellites that show the weather over the UK on that day. It was pretty cloudy, but there was a very, very unique cloud pattern. It's basically all clouds with 1 long clear strip and 2 large bare circles. And Mage photographed that, but you can see that on all 3 of these weather satellites. The thing was, we were sort of central UK.
Can you show me that on the?
Okay, I will try and show you that in a second.
Yeah,
we were central UK. Those bold patches were well over Ireland. So let me see if I can.
How do you know the signal couldn't be picked up further than 400 miles? That's what I'm asking you.
Well, maybe it could, but if no one's picked it up, we won't know.
How many people picked up the signal from from Mage 2?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you had some data that came back.
Well,
like they picked it up and sent it back to you.
I have the telemetry data which says, I don't know, 1252, 10 satellites. This is my GPS position. This is my height, and there's a couple of other figures in there. That's all I have.
Okay. So you don't know if it could have been picked up at 500 miles, 600,
It might have been picked up further, but with the globe model, for
that
instance,
data wouldn't
it's not going to be
necessarily come back to you.
It wouldn't necessarily come back to you if no one's there to do it, but also it's only going to be picked up a certain distance. For instance, if someone was on the east coast of America looking out for balloon signals, they wouldn't pick it up because the bulge of the Earth is in the way. So they couldn't pick it up.
So you contend. Okay, that's all I wanted to establish.
That's why we
it is
know
possible that it could have been picked up further than 400 miles. You don't have any substantive proof that it couldn't have been picked up at 500 or 600 miles. You just didn't receive any data back saying that someone actively picked it up and sent it back to you.
Well, what you can do is with the software, the high altitude ballooning software, it's basically overlaid on sort of Google Maps or whatever. So you've got your location because it's got the GPS position. As it goes up, the software draws a circle getting larger and larger. Like you were talking about on your diagram, with the circular view, that circle gets larger and larger as you get higher. Just like if you go up in an aeroplane, surely you don't contend against that. If you go up in an airplane, you can see a long way, a lot further than if you're stood on the ground. Yeah.
Do you think that I'm arguing that you couldn't see at 400 miles, or what do you think?
No, I'm just trying to make the point. I'm just trying to make. Okay, if you're stood on the ground, you can see so far. You stand on a tall building or a mountain, you can see further. It's exactly the same concept, but with Mage, at the height she was at, in effect, although she couldn't see, she could be seen from about 400 miles away.
That's your guess. That's a guess, essentially.
Well, okay, or that's what it would be mathematically.
I mean, you didn't have any mathematically on the globe, correct?
Hold on a second. That's what it would be mathematically, and none of the data contradicts it.
So, mathematically, how did you determine that it was 400 miles?
Well, I am not a high-altitude balloon expert. I am not a mathematician. The guy who helped me is a high-altitude balloon expert. Expert. He's someone who's done masses. He has all the software. He has equipment. He loaned me a lot. It saved me a lot of money. I was very, very grateful. And you can see it real time. I mean, this thing went up. We could track its position from the launch place to the landing place. It was about 40 miles. We were able to get signals from it, to his phone. And so, the balloon's burst. We know it's burst because instead of slowly going up, it's suddenly rushing down. So we tracked it, and we actually parked up, and we were looking there. Where is it? We could see it was coming down roughly half to 3/4 of a kilometre away. We didn't actually see it come through the clouds, but it landed 750 metres away from us. A couple of fields
that's not very far at all.
No. But we only knew that because it knew exactly where it was because of its satellite signals it received. So it calculated its GPS position and broadcast it. And so we knew where it was. And of course, then I was able to walk up and find it 40 miles away from where we started.
How far could you see in the Mage 2 images in your video at the highest point, the apex? What is the distance visually that you could see?
Well, like I said, I think it's about 400 miles.
400 miles you calculated based on the ball and based on the fact that you had some signals come back to you from GPS, but it might have been picked up further. You don't know. You can't exclude that.
Well, I think we can because nobody ever at that height would pick up anything further away than whatever that. I mean,
you told me earlier that it was possible that somebody at 500-600 could have, but you just didn't get any data back saying they did.
And I did say that, Brandon. Let me be clear, okay? The 400 miles, to my knowledge, is roughly. Okay. Maybe it's 500. So you can't hold me to that because I'm not a balloon expert. Okay. It could be a bit further, but there'll be a limit, something of that order. For instance, there's no way it would be 5,000 miles away. No way at all. Okay. So it might be 5, it might be 5.5, but it's roughly of that order.
How have you ruled out that it could not be? Your visual distance that you could see in that imagery wasn't 5,000 miles. How have you determined that?
Well, because it's it's going to be a bit of a circular argument. I was going to say because it's a ball, you can't see further. But what I'm doing, let me just call up this imagery that I said about this satellite imagery because it is really interesting. I'm going to have to hope that I can share okay without any issues.
Sure.
It's not the easiest thing to do. I'm not that keen on Zoom, but right.
Somebody wanted me to point out Flatzoid, who you're familiar with, that after 3 hours of flight time, the balloon, there was no Coriolis and it landed 750
That's because
away.
Flatzoid
We don't need to go into that.
We don't need to go into it. Yeah. Let me just say, that's because Flatzoid hasn't got the faintest idea what Coriolis is. I did say to Brian's Logic to do a video on Coriolis, and he has done a little thing. Flatzoid, if you do a video on Coriolis and why you think that with the globe model, Mage should have seen the Earth turn underneath. If you do a video on that, I will respond to that one, okay? Fair enough?
I've done a good video that I haven't gotten a good response to, a satisfying response, which is called Impossible Ball Flight. It's on my page having to do with Coriolis. You should check that out sometime.
Impossible what?
Impossible Ball Flight, I think, something like that. I can't remember the exact title. Anyway, so you're going to show me the satellite data, and what is this going to establish?
Well, I am trying. Just calling. I have to be careful because. Right, let's just see. Let me try presenting now. A window.
How long was the flight time again? Did you say?
About 2 3/4 hours, something like that.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Can you see that? Nice picture of me.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. So what we've got, I'm going to whiz it forward. So, yeah, I'll show this bit first. Come on. Actually, that's too low. Let me go back a bit further. Can you see above my head? You've got this sort of triangle, this clear area of blue.
Yes.
Okay. Then as we go higher, let me just. I'll mute it. We don't need the sound. You can see. Let me pause it there. You see, you've got this line down towards me, and over there you've got 2 circles or bare patches of sky. Yeah.
Sure.
Now we've got that. That's currently at 14,000 meters. If I do it again at a higher height, so this is 38,000. Let me just play it. So that's too late. Let me go back a bit.
There's the ball. There you go.
No, actually that's wide cam there. Here we go. This is at 14,000 feet. So you've got that. It's not showing. It's not the best view of it. I don't know exactly where it is in this video. Let me rotate it. Right, there you go. So that's facing eastwards. You've got that long bare stretch. All the rest of the sky is cloud. Then if I let it carry on, so it goes round. Go on, play. Goes round. Come on, turn round. There. You see, you've got 2 areas that are bold. Yeah?
Sure.
Okay, so that was the main premise of this video. I show it at various heights. I then call up, let's just go to it, some satellite data. So this is the eye in the sky on that date, 17th of October. If I just play the video, right, let me pause it. There, can you see? I don't know if is the mouse showing. There's the long streak.
I see.
Yeah. And there's the 2 bold bits. So you can see the outline of the UK. So those 2 bold bits are right across from the edge of Wales across to, that's Ireland over there. And we were somewhere over here. We could see from pretty much central England right across to and beyond the near coast of Ireland. So that scales it. That gives you proof that I was, or Mage was up there at that time. And in fact, if I go on to another satellite, I think this satellite wasn't quite so clear.
By the way, I have no doubt that you sent the balloon up.
No, I appreciate that, but some people could. So there again, you can see there's the 2 bold bits. Let me pause it. Oh, come on. I had fun and games with that. There we go. Yeah, so there's the 2 bold bits, and it's harder to see, but there's the bold strip. But the 3rd satellite, if I go onto that, so these are 3 independent satellites. This was a brilliant image. So there's the bold bit across the middle, the long streak, and there's the 2 bold areas, which matches up. And if I pause it there, come on, pause. So there we go. We've got the coast of Ireland over there. You've got the coast of Wales here. We were over here somewhere. We could see from central England right across and beyond to the coast of Ireland, because if there you go. So there's a good image looking across. So there's the 2 bold bits. So
you can see at least that far.
At least that far. So the coast of Ireland is there. We can see beyond. So that just gives you a sort of idea. Okay, I realised that was a long.
And this is at 24,000 meters. So
that's at 24.
2/3 of the way up.
Yep, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
What does this establish in your mind? Just that you can see that far? Is that it?
The reason I did this video, because it was independent proof for those who would deny I'd done it. It's independent proof that Mage was up there because the film I produced and had already published matched what was on websites for 3 weather satellite or 2 weather satellites and a NASA satellite. Okay,
gotcha.
So I just wanted
so I think we've got away from my question a little bit.
Probably not intentionally.
No. That's fine. My questioning took us away too. But how is it that you determined that what you are seeing is visually the horizon? Because I'll be honest with you, when I look at your images, it doesn't look like the horizon to me. It doesn't look like the geometric ball edge.
What does it look like to you?
It looks like the, as far as you can see, the limit of your vision based on atmospherics, and what is it called? Compression at the horizon due to distance, increasing angle. Just as anything else, when you look out towards the horizon, the further you go, the more things compress, the more atmospherics impact what you see, and then possibly in the back, it looks like darkness, possibly.
Darkness. So I'll think and look to answer. I don't know if you've got any super chats at your end. Have you that you might want to read?
Yeah, I think I've got one.
Okay, should we do super chats and then I'll try and answer that?
Yeah.
I've only got one to read out. It's from Mr. Mark Wagner for $10 US, saying, Mr. S, here's $10 for your next worthy venture. You're wasting your time with this guy. What an idiot! Intolerable. Okay, so that's what Mr. Mark Wagner says. I'm sure that people at your end have some interesting things to say as well, Brandon.
Yeah. No,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I hear that about 10 times a day. Flat for Life donated because I couldn't get it to work last night, bro. Thanks, Flat for Life. Appreciate it. And that's it for now.
Oh, okay. And I've been asked to fix the screen size. Apparently, I've managed to screw it up. My apologies, people. It's because... Oh, there we go. You happy now? I'm sorry about that. It's all too easy to mess things up, isn't it, Brandon? Okay, so you were asking about what you saw, what Mage could see. So I'm not quite sure what you're... I mean, I think I understand your question, but I'm not quite sure what you're intimating, because you said about blackness. If the sun is shining, well, we know that half the world, whatever shape it is, half the planet, world, disk, is lit. So it was early afternoon when Mage was up there, say about 2 o'clock. So right across Ireland would also be daytime, and mostly across most of the Atlantic, and I guess on the eastern seaboard of America, perhaps it was first thing in the morning, perhaps it was dawn, I don't know. So why would it be dark? You know, how could I be seeing so far it's dark all the way round the same distance? If I'm seeing, let's say 600 miles. Let's say I could see 600 miles. That would make the daylight portion of the Earth 1,200 miles across only. If you see what I'm saying.
1,200 miles across. Where'd you come up with that number?
Well, if I can see 600 miles this way, 600 miles looking that way, that's 1,200 miles.
600. I missed the 600 part. Okay. Got it. I just didn't hear you say 600.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to hold that against you.
I'll share in a minute. Okay, so let me share here. Hopefully you can see it okay this time. Let me know when you see
it's presenting, and it's showing a it's some graphics package with some Mage images in, by the looks of it.
Oh, am I sharing the wrong one?
Might be.
Okay, that's not good.
While you're just looking at that, the Snark super chatted €2 saying, "Can you show your images in my video? Would be fun." I'm sure it would be Snark, but I'm only anything I present will be stuff that I'm fully aware of. Not be funny, as you can see, it can be difficult enough to do presenting and stuff as it is. Brandon's having some fun and games, getting some stuff sorted out right now. Yeah, but thank you.
Okay, I think you should see it now. Sorry to cut you off.
No worries. Yeah, I can see it. It's part of a Mage image with the 2 reference line strings. Yes.
Yeah, I had it zoomed in a little bit.
Yep,
But yes, this is a Mage image that I took from the end of your Mage 2 video.
What's that height? Is that the 36,000 meters?
It's 35,300. It looks like.
Oh right, no. You read it in that little. Oh right, no, it's 35,162. You can read it at the top. You've got it in white and red. Out M and out max M. Top right corner.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was looking at this. I thought this line for a second.
No. That's one of those two strings. The black box has the same figure. There may be a drawing delay between the two. It's basically the same. So it's 35 kilometers up. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Yep. Okay. So when I look at this image, I don't see a geometric horizon.
Do you see curve? Does that? We'll call it horizon just for the sake of ease. Okay. I'm not going to hold you to that. That line, that horizon, does that look curved to you? Whatever the reason, does it look curved to you?
Where is the horizon?
No, you know what? Okay, from where? Okay, zoom back out again.
Sure.
You've got black above, and then a band of gradient of blue, and then pretty suddenly, it turns white. So it is difficult to pick an exact point because it's not like something you can see exactly and zoom in that gets you closer. You zoom in, it looks harder. But you can see, let's say, the top of that whitish area. Does it look dead straight to you, or does it look bent?
Well, so what you're calling this is the top of this white, this blue line. You're saying that is the geometric.
Well, I'm saying that's the top of the clouds and the thick atmosphere, and it's so far away that it's not like a cloud, is up down. It's so far away. I can see beyond Ireland. We're talking several hundred miles away. So it's just with perspective. It's pretty much all ironed out so that it's. There's no up down from clouds. You know what I'm saying, don't you?
Yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that when I look at this image, I don't see a geometric Earth curvature here.
I don't see a straight line.
Hard horizon. I don't see a hard horizon at all.
No.
What I see is the limit of visibility, and I see more clouds or land or whatever going off in the distance, past this point where the atmosphere is so thick that you can't see through it anymore.
But
that's what I see.
Okay, you see the telemetry numbers up there at the top. It says 10 satellites, 466 pascals, which is actually about half a percent of the atmosphere. There is virtually nothing up there. Yes, you're looking.
No, I understand that where Mage 2 is, that there is not a thick atmosphere. I understand that. But what you're doing is you're looking down at such a steep angle across the Earth, and you're looking down into the atmosphere.
I think you mean a shallow angle.
So as this horizon goes away from you into the distance, this compresses.
What's compressing?
You get more and more physical space compacted into less and less visual space, so that by the time you get to, say, here where the atmosphere keeps you from seeing any further, one hair width is as much as half of this.
I know
up here.
What you're saying about perspective, but then if that's the case, what's all that blue stuff above it?
What blue stuff?
Okay, you've got that line, the top of the white, which is perhaps where this alleged compression is. What's the blue? Sorry, I'm waggling my mouse so you can see it. What's the blue and then fading to black above it?
Yeah, see how this changes color as it goes from white, and then it fades into this green, and then it fades into this blue.
Right, I will have to stop you there, Brandon. I'm actually slightly colourblind to red and green, so that doesn't help with that.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Have you?
You know, at the top of the white, there is a different color. Do you see that variant of gray or whatever color it is?
Okay.
Anyway, this goes from white to dark blue as you go up, right?
Yes, but you've got white, maybe towards a green, but then very suddenly it changes. You can see
And
a line there, surely. And then above, it's a nice smooth gradient to very dark or black or whatever it is. But that bit is a massive change.
Up here,
from...
this is obviously above the Earth. Yes. Yeah, I agree with you that most of this is above the Earth over here, or, you can't see anything.
What package have you got
down here? What it does is it goes
contrast?
from white, and then not very suddenly, because you have to remember this band right here that looks green but is a different color from the white as it moves into the blue is a very long distance, probably further than half of this down here, almost certainly further than half this. So you're looking at a lot of atmosphere condensed into a very small space. Hence, of course, it's going to change colors faster. You're going to see the atmospheric effects rapidly change as you look away from you, as you're looking through that smaller and smaller visual space that represents larger and larger physical space.
Okay, so we're at 35 kilometers. What about when we were at sort of say 15 kilometers, about half that? Okay, if you're looking horizontally, you haven't even got the advantage of being in this really rarefied atmosphere. There's a lot more atmosphere, and yet you don't see this curvature effect. You'll see a blurring out if you looked horizontal. You won't be able to see so far, but what you don't have is that such a pronounced curve. Why is it looking more curved the higher you get? I appreciate what you're saying, you're looking through more atmosphere, but why should that make it look more curved?
So you've got this limit of what you can see, and that's naturally, I think that's why this is curved. That's my hypothesis, is it makes a limit of vision around you, kind of like they're trying to show in this, right? So from the side, a circle, if you were in and your eyesight was on the same plane as the top of this cylinder here, and you were looking at it, it would look like a flat line. But as you raise yourself up above, that circle of sight is still around you, and that will make it look a little more curved as you see that limit of your vision.
I mean, I know what you're arguing there. Obviously, I disagree. So I just want to check.
But I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is a subjective thing here. Looking at this picture, you have decided that because of the appearance of this, that what you are seeing is Earth curvature. And I'm telling you, when I look at this visually, it doesn't look like Earth curvature, and it matches my model of how things should work on a extended flat plane. And just let me show you another picture, because it's actually doesn't have the blues in it, so it might be better.
Okay.
I messed around with this picture and tried to enhance it in a couple different ways, and you can see here I messed with the color levels.
Yeah, that helps. That helps.
You can see the green more pronounced here, and it's interesting.
You can see the
there's
curve
kind of more green
easily,
on this
Brendan.
side here. Do you see this over here? How this green is more over here? Why is that? Why does the thickness of this other color that's right on what you think is the horizon increase, or why does the thickness increase here?
You're sort of quite a distance towards the black string there, aren't you? As I said, I can see a sort of to me a turquoisey colour. You'll have to ignore if I'm wrong about the colour. I can see a sort of turquoisey area, but whether that's clouds or ocean, you know what I mean? If that which direction, I'm not sure which direction that is, but whether there's the ocean there, it's I don't know, but there is a slight discoloration there. But you have got a very definite curve to that. Why? I know what you're saying.
Well,
because
I
how far you can see.
Why it's the limit of your visibility, which is going to naturally look like a curve. But let me show you this one here. Maybe this one's the better one. When I look at this picture, this is just, I changed the color levels.
Yeah.
You can see it draws it out, and you can see more of what is behind that kind of blue-black. So it draws some of those colors out and shows you that these colors that you were seeing in here, this effect that you were seeing here, goes off into the distance, and it's pretty interesting.
Can you see zoom into that a bit? Can you zoom into that a bit?
Yeah.
What's that line?
Oh, this line right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, these lines. Yeah, these kind of come and go. I think it's just another layer to the atmospheric effects,
but they
something
do
to do
happen
with the sun.
to follow the same curve. But actually, if you can just zoom out again, Brandon, please. And can you go back to the previous image? I appreciate what you've done with this, but go back to the one with the blues and the greens and the whatever.
Well, I haven't. Yeah, okay. I haven't gotten done explaining that one. We'll go.
No, I appreciate it. It's just back to the first image you looked at. Was it? I think it might be that one. But we've been sort of talking about the top of that sort of whitish area where you say it goes sort of a greenish area. If you look up higher still, where you've got that blue fading out to black, i.e. you're now looking right across the top of the atmosphere where there is very little atmosphere, you still got that curve. It happens to follow the same curve, but you're looking for a lot less atmosphere. But perhaps, please carry on with what you were saying. You had your colorized version.
Yeah, you're always looking, the further you look, the more atmosphere from your position you're looking through. So if you're looking down here at the ground, it's a lot less atmosphere that you're looking at when you look out here towards this color band area.
Well, I would agree with you to a certain extent.
Exponentially as you go out.
Up to a point, though, Brandon, because, we're at 35 kilometres, I think it is. Yeah, so if you look straight down, you'd be looking through 35 kilometres of atmosphere. If you looked sort of at an angle of 45 degrees, you're looking at, I don't know how many kilometres, let's say 80 kilometres of atmosphere and so on. Yes, it's getting more and more atmosphere you're looking through until you're looking sort of above the ground. Then you actually reach a point where you're looking over the top of the sphere, in effect. So you're not looking through those thicknesses. You're looking, if you're looking absolutely horizontal at 35 kilometres at half an atmosphere, you're looking through half an atmosphere's thickness over a long way, but only half an atmosphere's, sorry, not half, 0.5, half of 1%'s atmosphere. 0.5% atmosphere. So it's hardly any there.
Yeah, if you're looking horizontally, we have no disagreement about that.
Okay,
this
so
is,
now
this
look
is the
just
least amount
below
of atmosphere
horizontal.
you can look at.
Here's what yeah, but that's what I'm saying, you see. If you're looking just below horizontal, you start looking through that faded gradient blue. This curve there. Why is there curve there if it's due to atmospheric distortion, if there's no atmosphere to speak of?
There is atmosphere to speak of. I don't know why you're not saying that. Where do you think that there is an atmosphere?
Okay.
Tell me where you think the atmosphere stops.
Oh, no.
I'll move my mouse up. Can you see my mouse?
Okay. Oh, the point I'm talking about. Go on, move the mouse up a bit more. Okay, right. Just stop there. Now, there is atmosphere there. Absolutely there is. That's roughly horizontal. Let's say it's horizontal. That's about 0.5% atmosphere, 0.5% atmospheric pressure at that height. You're looking through a lot of it, from a long distance, but it's only at 0.5%. Why is that? If you follow your mouse to the left and to the right, why does that also follow exactly the same curve as that sort of white to green turquoise or whatever? It's the curve of the Earth.
So we're thinking two different ways. Okay, so you're thinking that you're looking out over a ball when you look in this direction, that this is the edge of a ball. And in that case, I understand what you're saying. You'd be looking out over, there wouldn't be very much atmosphere here. But if you're looking down on a flat plane, there is a lot of atmosphere here, right here. This would not be just out over the curve of the Earth. This would be down into the atmosphere. Well, down here is down in the atmosphere. This is down in the atmosphere and more atmosphere. This is more atmosphere. And wherever the land stops up here, which you can't see because it's blocked by all this atmospheric effects, this condensed atmosphere.
But if let's say, for the sake of argument, that is a flat Earth, you've got all this. There is no rises to eye level. It's not going to keep on. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know
where your mouse
where
is.
It rises to. I don't know where it rises to because you can't see that far.
Well,
but
if you're looking horizontal, you're looking horizontal, if you are above a flat Earth and you're looking absolutely horizontal, then every bit of that Earth is going to be below you. It cannot be above you.
Are we looking horizontal? But we're looking. This is a visual thing. This is an optical thing. When I put my cursor here and say, look in this direction, I'm not talking about the Euclidean physical model. I'm talking about this picture And if I look at this spot on the ground and drew a line from me to this spot on the ground, I would be looking through a lot of thick atmosphere on a flat plane.
Yeah, but no, I appreciate what you're saying. But you see what I'm saying as well.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. I understand I get what you're saying.
Okay.
Okay, I do get what you're saying. It doesn't rise to eye level. It doesn't matter. Is this picture at the point when the camera is perfectly horizontal?
I can't tell, but I'll tell you, excuse me, I can't tell, but I'll tell you probably can. That's Walter Bisling's, because he did do calculations and worked out horizon drop. I'm not a mathematician. And yeah, you're quite right. How do we know from that one picture? Because Mage tilts and rocks. Absolutely. I can't dispute that.
Say that again? What?
Yeah, sorry. I said the Mage probe swings and rotates and so on. So I cannot say what the attitude was of Mage at the point of that image. So
do you know? Okay, so if you don't know at the point of this image,
yeah,
are there images within your Mage film that you do know?
Well,
when it's perfectly horizontal.
No, but that doesn't make any difference. Why should that make a difference?
Well, you're saying that the horizon doesn't rise to eye level or doesn't come up to this height. How do you know?
Yeah.
I'm talking. Where horizontal
no,
is.
I wasn't talking about Mage. I was talking about if you had a flat Earth, and if you have a flat plane Earth and you are above it, well, actually, even stood, leave aside mountains and buildings and things like that. A flat surface. If you look directly forward horizontally, then that land, although it appears to rise, will never cross the horizontal line of your eyesight. It can't. It physically can't. So the higher you are, the lower it's going to appear in your field of view. I think we're getting sort of sidetracked there a bit, really.
Well, just let me respond to that, because I'm not arguing that it rises to eye level.
Okay.
In my mind, that has nothing to do with this. I'm just looking at this image and what I see here. I don't know how far on a flat plane it would go. You can't see that far. You cannot see through those thick atmospherics.
Okay. And what I would say from that image is, if that was over a flat Earth, if you can move your with a mouse in the centre at the peak of that apparent arch, why it does looking forward that bit look a further distance than to the left and the right of the image, which appear sort of lower down? That's what I'm saying. It would be the same all around.
Well, how do you think this would look? You have a circle of sight. So when you look out, you can see the same distance in each direction. What do you think this would look like if you were inside here looking at the edge of this circle and took a picture? The edge would look like it is curved, right?
Sorry, I mean, that's a sort of a thick ring. I'm not quite sure what you're saying with that.
All right, let me put it this way. So
I mean, can you imagine a hula hoop? If I have a hula
circle
hoop
in
all right, go ahead.
Yep. So this is from the top down. Hula hoop. This from the top down.
Yep.
And we'll slant it that we're looking down at the Earth. So there. Now this would look like a curve, right? If I'm standing in the middle of it.
The thing is, though, you're not stood in the. Oh, so yes, you'd actually have to cut that.
Of course
image
you
left
are.
to right, top,
you're always in the middle of your circle of sight.
Yes, you are in your circle of sight. Yes, you are. But I mean, the image is actually both ways, isn't it? That you would be. You've got the centre two markers just where your mouse was. The grab handles for the imagery. Oh.
Grab handles.
Yeah, you had that circle that you were just showing, that you were showing an angle. Excuse me, an angle. We know what we're talking about. In that, if you had yes, those are the grab handles. Yeah, you see, you've got the four corners and you've got top and bottom in the middle. Yeah, where you are now. So the one at the top is you looking forward. The one at the bottom would be the one behind you. Do you see what I'm saying? You take that image.
Yeah, you'd be standing like here. Let me make it a little bigger.
Yeah, you'd be
And let me
standing in the
plop
middle.
man in there, so we know what we're talking about. Yeah. You'd be
you take the
standing
top
in the
half
middle
of
of
that
this
image.
thing, looking out.
Yeah, the top half of that image. Yeah, stood in the middle. Hey.
So I think naturally you're going to see some kind of curving effect due to this, especially when you're up at that distance. Although some people will get mad at me for not saying that the horizon is always flat level line, but we can deal with that later. But I did want to go back to this.
I mean, whatever the cause is, Brandon, whatever the cause is, that horizon, that edge, that change in colour is not flat and level. Patently.
You're right. You are seeing some kind of curve here. Yeah.
Yes,
You're seeing a curve. Yeah.
Now, whether that's due to atmospheric effects that you're sort of postulating, or the curve of the physical Earth that I'm saying, there is curvature. Yeah, a curve. Sorry, I don't want. I mean, you just agreed that there is some form of curvature. Something is curving.
Not curvature of the Earth, but there is a circular effect taking place that you're seeing optically. Yeah.
There is a curve in the image.
There's a curve in the image. Yes,
okay,
clearly.
Now what I'll do is I'll say thank you for that, Brandon, because that's not you conceding that the Earth is curved, but agreeing that there is a curve, a bend in that image. Thank you, because so many people have disingenuously looked at that and said it's straight.
Well, no, we can test that together right here. I don't know how you could look
honestly,
at that
I
and
really
say
want
that
to
it's
thank you for that,
straight.
Brandon.
Okay. All right. I don't know.
Any
who
chance
I
of
just threw
choosing a
under the bus,
different
but you're
colour?
welcome.
What colour is that? What colour is that? Is that
It's green? Hold
yes.
on. Yeah.
Ah, that's better.
All right. So yeah, there is a curve to this, but obviously our assumptions about why
Absolutely
that appears that way are completely different.
Yeah, but good on you, mate, for agreeing that there is we've made some progress here, and that we both agree that there is something that is bent, curved, rounded, however you want to put it. And I'm not trying to trick you on that. I don't know if actually I will just read. I had a super chat. Let me just. I don't know if you've got any more. I did have another one to read out. I'll just refresh it in case.
Yeah. Go ahead. I got some too. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I've got 3 to read out. Do you want to go first this time, or?
Sure. Let me go here. Flat Earth Data 699. Mr. Simple. What causes the apparent junction of the sky and the ground? Earth curvature of eyesight. As a question for you.
Well, if we're talking about, can you read that again? What causes the apparent
junction of the sky and the ground? Earth curvature or eyesight?
Earth curvature. Oh, did that make you choke?
No, fair enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Course,
Yeah, Earth curvature. For instance, looking out over the ocean, that point where the sky and the ground, the surface of the water meet, the horizon, is because of Earth curvature. You can't see any further because it's hidden behind itself. I hope I've answered that fairly, even if you don't agree.
No, I had a feeling you were going to say that. I don't agree, but that's what the whole debate's about. So we'll get into that. RM Skillen, $10. Oh, am I losing my feed right here? Shoot, just 1 second. I'm going to have to. Hopefully, it's coming back. Okay. You might lose my audio for just a second.
I've still got you. You're breaking up a little, but I still have you.
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me right now?
That's a bit better again, yeah.
All right. Just 1 second. I had to restart OBS for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay. So just 1 second. I don't know if you can hear that or not.
I can hear you.
Not.
I can hear you.
Okay. Just me. Okay. Let me start streaming again. And as soon as it picks up the feed, we're good. I should have let you read your super chat while that was going on.
You should try using Globe technology. It works. Oh, he's gone.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, can't see you. So I'll tell you what, shall I read my super chats out while you're
Go for it.
sorting it?
Go for it.
I had one a little while ago from Remnant Art for $5 SGD. Sorry, I don't know what SGD is. It's the first time I've seen that. It's always amazing how these limits of vision and light always perfectly match what you would see on a globe. So I would have to agree with that. I guess you're not going to, Brandon, are you? I don't know if you can hear me. Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. You're dealing with the same variables at the same distances. Of course, you're going to have some visual effect as you look around you through a medium. Just like in the ocean when you go swimming. You can only see the sun so far down. You can only see so far around you. When there's a fog storm, you have visibility. This is not a new concept.
Well, I say it's not a new concept to limits to vision due to the medium you're in, but Mage is not really in a medium, and why does that limit happen to look like a curve? But that's what we were discussing, wasn't it? I've had a super chat from Crafty Keeler. Thank you, Keeler, for €5 saying, can Brandon hear himself when he speaks? No disrespect intended, but this hurts to watch. Facepalm. So, sorry about that, Brandon.
No worries.
And one from Rob Montgomery for $5 US. Brandon claimed he has a model. Let us see it. Is that some discussion or argument there has been in sort of comments or sections or something? Or was that something that you said tonight?
Who was that?
A guy called Rob Montgomery.
I don't know. He must have picked up on a word I said. I don't know what he's talking about. I may have said on a flat plane model or something like that. No, I don't have a complete model. I can't show you a plastic thing. Hey,
okay. Can I ask you though? So what would be your view? It's a flat Earth, then, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Is it one? And again, this is just me questioning. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but is it one that's sort of bounded by an ice wall or similar, or is it an infinite plane or something like that, or is it just unknown?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
It's unknown in my opinion.
Do you think there's some form of container, dome for want of a better word, but some form of container over the Earth?
Some form of I don't know. No idea.
Okay. You've already said that. I believe you already said that there is atmospheric gradient.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, do you think that goes down to space? Is there such thing as space? This is just to get a feeling for where you're coming from, mate.
Space in the sense that there
in the sense as infinite vacuum going off where the stars, planets, and so on are.
I have no idea how far it goes. No, I don't know.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Thank you for answering. Yep. I'm not quite sure where we. Oh, you were reading super chats as well, and you had some issues there. You read one or two, I think.
Yeah, let me get back to that.
Yeah.
RM Skillen. That is why flat Earth is such a joke to me. You dismiss evidence, and when asked for an alternative theory, all you say is, I don't know. It looks like blackness. Thanks, RM Skillen. $10. Appreciate that. Brian Leakey. Ranty video. BBC program showing a PhD demonstrating line-of-sight signal from Birmingham BT Tower to London.
Oh.
I'll have to check that out, Brian.
I've come across that thing before a few years back. Yeah. Have fun digging that up then, Brandon. See what you make of it. I won't try and colour your judgment on it.
And I had one more come in from the Plain Truth. Following flat Earth data, is the apparent junction horizon always the result of Earth curve, or could there be an alternative cause? I believe that's a question for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on the topography of where you are. If you're in a hilly area, then that juncture is going to be the hillside. If you're in the middle of the ocean, then that's going to be literally going to be the curve of the Earth, where the ocean's curving round until you can't see beyond it. Because just like anything else, that's let's see if I can. You've got. You can see that handle as it turns away. It gets hidden behind the curve. I mean, it's as simple as that. You know, I'm not wishing to be disrespectful, but it really is a simple concept.
That's interesting that you say that. I don't think that anybody doesn't understand the concept, Mr. Sensible.
But then, you get Occam's razor. Otherwise, you have to invent things like. Well, how do you explain away, for instance, if that handle is a boat going over the curve, why is it always the bottom of the boat that disappears first? Then you get someone saying, well, it's perspective, but the masts and that on the ship are thinner and narrower, and yet you can still see those. So why is it I can't see the big fat bottom of the boat? You know, that doesn't fit in with sort of laws of perspective. So you have to either hand wave it away or come up with magic or some other strange explanation. And yet, just hidden behind a curve fits it perfectly.
It is a pretty easy and convenient explanation that you're using there. However, I kind of think you're hand waving away atmospherics and the different effects that we see on the horizon, miraging. Obviously, you are limited or impacted by your line of sight to something as it what is it called? Dang it, compresses on the horizon.
Okay.
I think it's natural for the bottom of things to disappear. There's lots of reasons that could happen.
I could see what you're... I mean, I'd still disagree, but I can see what you're saying with small things, and obviously by definition, it's at a fair distance, so it's going to be hard to see. And then there are occasions when you get atmospherics interfering and mirages and that, and you end up with images like the Black Swan, but let's leave that aside. But what about something as obvious as either the sun or the moon setting or rising over the ocean, when you have the perfect circle of the moon or the sun, and then as it goes down you end up with exactly half? That cannot be down to compression. It cannot compress one part of an object and not the other.
Well, that could be down to something else happening in the atmosphere.
That's what I'm talking... Yes, something else. That's what I'm talking about, hand waving.
Yeah, like no, that's not a hand wave. You don't know what's happening through that 6,000 miles of medium, right? Between you and the sun, 6,000 roughly.
What?
So when you see... Yeah,
you're a local sunner, are you?
Yeah, I think, yes.
Absolutely. Oh, man,
so
no. Brandon,
well,
no.
I mean, how can you think it's a flat plane and have the sun 93 million miles away? That wouldn't make any sense. So the sun has to be local.
Actually, I suppose it wouldn't. But
model.
So basically, I would say, if you're going to assume a flat Earth, then you have to have the sun local. So you ignore the evidence of the sun being 93 million miles away just to make it fit a flat Earth, because the evidence is it's 93 million miles away.
What evidence leads you to believe that it's 93 million miles away?
Well, how about the fact that an orbit round it takes a year, which matches... Do you know what I mean? Orbital mechanics, that orbit of the Earth... I'm not into star signs and things like that, but you know, they say, oh, you're in Gemini, you're in Aries or whatever, or the sun is in. That's because over the course of a year, as you rotate around, the sun apparently, or the planets, have different constellations behind them. It's absolutely meaningless in itself, but it takes that long for us to go round it.
Well, yeah, if you're not going around the sun, then how would the length of time that you supposedly go around the sun apply to a flat model where the sun, stars, and moon are circling above you? Why wouldn't it be possible for the same thing to happen on a flat plane? What you just said,
I can tell you something.
Try to apply the ball model to a flat plane.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you something absolutely impossible on a flat plane with regard to sun, moon, and stars. 2 stellar points of rotation in the night sky. In the north, you have the stars apparently rotating roughly around Polaris, but in the south you have the stars rotating in the opposite direction, roughly around Sigma Octanis. How can you have 2 points of rotation in the sky, night sky?
Yeah, I don't know for sure about the 2 points of rotation. How
no one's been able to answer that.
But I can't say that would falsify some flat plane model of any kind. Perhaps there are 2 points of rotation above the flat plane. No, maybe there's a point of rotation under Polaris. Maybe there's a point of rotation that's around Sigma Octantis. Maybe it's a visual effect from the stars in the middle. There are other possibilities.
Right.
But there's too much other evidence to ignore.
Yeah, but this is evidence you can't ignore.
For the southern stars.
Brandon, this sheet of paper is your night sky, okay? Where my finger is That's Polaris. The stars rotate around it, okay? There's Sigma Octanis. How can it rotate around both points at the same time? It can't. I know that they're not a rigid sheet, but in effect they are, in that any stars do not change the gaps between themselves during the course of a night, and yet during a night in the south it's rotating one way, in the north it's rotating the other way on a single the stars have 2 points of rotation. That cannot work. It literally cannot work. Never mind about what shape the Earth is. You can't have
It just can't work. You just can't wrap your head around how that could possibly be possible. I get it.
Well,
and it seems like you're very stuck in this ball model mindset.
No, Brendan.
You're a globe earther. I get it.
No, Brad.
I don't know what's happening with the stars. No, I really don't.
Okay.
And I agree that it fits your model, but I'm not going to rule out the other things that I see.
If you
tell me that we aren't living on a giant spinning ball.
If you had the stars and they were sort of in effect rotating in like gears, so that you would have 2 points of rotation, but then you see those two fingertips, they get further apart. That doesn't happen because in the night they stay the same distance apart, but in both directions. That's why it doesn't fit or work.
Yeah, I don't know about the stars. I'm not too big on the stars, to be honest with you.
Okay, but I would suggest...
I'm more worried about what I can touch and feel on the ground.
Okay, well, what I would suggest
directly in front of me
is if you want to be able to...
I don't need any suggestions, Mr. Sensible, about going to look at the stars, but thank you very much. Let's get back to the topic at hand, which I never finished my point.
Okay, I will let you get... But
so am I still sharing my screen?
Brendan, yes, you are, but I would say...
Okay.
For your sake, I'm saying, if you want to argue your case, I suggest you look into it more so that you know what it's about.
I didn't come here to talk about the stars, dude. You don't need to pull this, hey, Daddy, let me sit on my lap and I'll tell you about the stars shit, or go look at the stars. I don't need advice from you, Mr. Sensible. Let's talk about the subject at hand, and then we can go our separate ways. So
we were, though, Brenda, because we were talking about a flat plane.
This does not look like I'm looking over... This picture right here that I'm showing on my screen does not look like I am looking at a ball and then looking at the edge. You'll see this area right here that comes up to about the top line. If you look on your picture, that area is very dark, but when you draw the colors out, you see that it is possible that this effect that's happening down here is also happening down here, and that this is a visual optical effect only that you're seeing. Furthermore, when I look at this land down here, this doesn't look like curve. It doesn't look like it curves off away from me. This looks like a flat plane going up.
Brandon, that's not land. Just turn the effect the other way again. That's all cloud, I believe. Can you just...
Okay, whatever. So the clouds are
no.
going above
You
the
just
land,
made a claim. You said that looks like flat land. I just asked you to turn it back. You said whatever. That's hand waving. Come on, mate.
Okay, this doesn't look like curved clouds curving around a ball, if you want to be pedantic.
You're 30 foot... Go on, flick back to the cloud. So I'm not saying you were doing any deliberate manipulation to cheat. I'm not saying that, but just flick back to... Right. All you got is a lot of white and some bluish areas. Okay?
Yes, and that's why I changed the colors to draw
and that's
it
fair
out,
enough.
so you could see it in different colors. This one is interesting, too. You have this effect in the middle, which appears to be from the sun. The sun is in this direction. And then you've got this darkness as you go out into the distance. Now, this looks like there's more land that, apparent blockage, or what you're calling the horizon, that goes off into the distance. That's what it looks like. Now, can you falsify that that's what it is? That it is more land going off in the distance? Because your claim that it is Earth curvature doesn't sit with me, because when I look at it, I don't see Earth curvature. I just see the land going off into the distance, even more so when I draw these colors out.
Yeah, and if you turn those again, I am not saying that you were manipulating the colours. I'm not saying that. I appreciate you change colours. A lot of people do. They change the contrast or whatever to try and help. That's absolutely a valid thing to do. What I would say, though, is if you just flick between them, that sort of colour change, darkish area towards the left... It's just just go back to the ordinary again and look back. Right, you said that. My colour sight is not very good. You said there's a greenish area towards the left.
Yes, and you can see that in this picture. It's darker
so
right here?
That's a greenish area. I don't know what that is. I don't know how the sunlight shade is lit, what that greenish tinge is. Is it thicker cloud below, thinner cloud below? I don't know. But you said that there's, under the ordinary conditions, there is a greenish area. So when you change the colours, for valid reasons, you're going to affect the different colours differently. I do agree, yes, there is a darkish area.
The colors.
So, I'm sorry, say again.
That's the whole point of changing the colors, is to look at it in different lights and draw out different things that you couldn't see in the original color.
Absolutely,
right?
And I'm not knocking you for that. And I'm agreeing that there is a darker area over to the left, but it doesn't go out beyond what would be the curve. In effect, you've made the curve look tighter, haven't you, by doing that? It sort of brings the bright area towards you. You haven't managed to adjust the colours to bring out more details and then show stuff that's beyond the apparent bent curve, whatever we want to call it, that we can see in the unaltered image. There's nothing beyond that by changing the colours. You know, it's not like soldiers when they put on the night vision and they can see. You can't put a night vision filter on this and see something beyond that curve. You'll see nothing beyond that curve. You won't be able to see this land.
You cannot see beyond this thick atmosphere right here. You just can't. So all I did was draw out the different colors that you actually can see it in here. Some more whiteness back here. But you've got to remember that when you get to that part of the horizon, it is so condensed as you get up here. Don't look at this shit.
I mean, what you're showing there now, yeah, I agree.
Here.
That would be what it would be if you were looking, well, perhaps as a cylinder, but yeah, over a curve. As you get closer and closer to the visual edge, then more and more of that surface is in effect going to be compressed. I'm not denying that. And yes, you'd be looking through more and more of the atmosphere.
So do you think you could see forever if it was a flat plane with all those atmospheric effects and the condensing into space of all of the atmospherics? Do you think you would be able to see forever on a flat plane?
Well, there will be a limit, because in effect that compression's getting more and more and more. Absolutely, I agree. However, what you would end up with is that.
What would it look like? What would you have expected to see with Mage 2 if you had sent it up over a flat plane? Yeah.
Okay, that's a good question. I would expect, well, we know we got an atmospheric gradient. So as we've got on there, you've got thick atmosphere and then fading through into black. I would expect to see that. So basically, I would expect to see exactly that image I've got there, but without any curve.
So you would expect to see this, but you wouldn't expect to see any curve, even though you've already acknowledged that the limit of our sight is a circle. We have a circle of sight. You would expect to see just like this, except you wouldn't expect to see a curve. Why not?
But if you're over a sphere, yes, you've got a circle, because in effect, if you got your diagram with that little circle on, can you pull that up again?
Yeah.
Okay, because to the right of that sort of metallic-looking circle on the globe, you've got a cone. That, in effect, is what you're seeing with... Okay, I know it's accentuated just for the diagram, but that, in effect, is what you're doing with Mage. You're at the peak of that cone. You can see a certain distance, the same distance, 400 or 500 miles in every direction, but you've got a curve. If that's a flat plane, you will see, just like with a looking with a hula hoop, you're going to see just a flat level surface, because whichever direction you look, there's more flat. I would actually turn something round to you though, Brandon.
I really wasn't satisfied by your answer to the question. Just so you know.
Well, I wasn't satisfied with you waving away 2 points of stellar rotation. To be fair,
circle of sight. If you looked at your circle of sight and your vision was blocked at the limit of your sight, you acknowledge that it would look circular, and you acknowledge that you would expect to see something similar to this, but you have ruled out that this that it is a flat plane based on the Mage 2 image.
You missed my point.
What did I miss?
Just going back to that image with the little bloke stood in the middle. Yes,
okay.
Yes, his vision is limited. Yes, we're not to scale, obviously. His vision is limited to that white circle because of Well, he can see the same distance in every direction. He doesn't see a circle, though. He stood in the middle. He can see, let's say, 25 miles in every direction. So whichever direction he looks, he can see 25 miles. He doesn't see a circle. He doesn't see a curve stood on the ground there.
Well, no. What he sees, the entirety of what he sees to the limit of his vision, will be a circle that is around him. That is the circle of sight, right? We already agreed on this. You have a circle around you. That is the limit of your vision. If you can see 500 feet this way, you can see 500 feet that way.
Yep.
If I draw this, just like I have here, this is what it would look like from a ground position, where you would see a curve, which would represent the limit of your sight, and past here, the atmosphere would be too thick, or you just couldn't see that far.
Right.
Okay, so you do agree then that you would see a curve on a flat plane because of your circle of sight.
No, that's
yes, you did. You just agreed that I was correct on this.
But I'm saying yes, you would see the same distance in every direction. Little red man there, if he turns around, wherever he looks, he'll see whatever distance it was you said, 25 miles for the sake of argument. A circle, if he's 6 foot tall, a circle around him, which there is, 25 miles radius, you think he's going to see it curve? It's going to be, he's got a hula hoop at eye level down a fraction of a millimetre. Is he going to see that it's a circle? No, he's not. Why
wouldn't he see the limit of his sight curving? Why wouldn't he see that barrier curve? If he looks in this direction, he's not going to see that taper off here, or he's going to see a taper off here. Is that what you're saying? That the circle of sight works in such that it always looks it would always look flat? Or
you've been on a boat or a ship or something, I presume, at some point, or a ferry.
Of course.
Yep.
What's your point?
Yeah. No, I'm not mocking or whatever. But you've been on. Okay. So and it's you've been on one that's out of sight of land.
Yes.
Okay. Whichever direction you looked, I don't know what the distance was you could see, but whatever direction you looked, it was exactly the same. Did it look like a circle?
So that's what we talked about when we started the show, when I asked you if you were standing on the beach and looking out at the ocean, would you be able to see curvature? And you said, you'd probably have to have very good optics.
Absolutely.
Now you're asking me if I think I would see curvature standing on the ocean.
Yeah, but you're just saying that...
But at 36 kilometers, I would expect that circle of sight, since we have such a hard barrier and seeing such a far away to the point where the atmosphere is too thick to see beyond, that I would see a curve because of my circle of sight. Not the Earth curve, and it would look exactly like this.
So could you show me a photograph from being on a boat or something, not necessarily one you've taken, a photograph on a boat? Surely all the flat earthers are saying it's flat, it's straight. We've not seen a photograph of a sea horizon where it's bent like that because of circle of sight, because it's bent towards you. It's the same distance wherever you look.
You seem to be contradicting yourself. I don't understand why you're saying it's the same distance wherever you look. I know that, but if you look in this direction, I look in this direction.
Yeah.
Right? This is where my focus is. Now, if I compare looking in this direction to here, this is going to appear as if it curves around me because my circle of sight is making a circle around me, like we already agreed about this.
Hold on, go back to that image, though. Go back to that image. Let's say that centre of the image is 500. Can we work just with 500 miles just for the sake of argument?
Sure.
Okay. How far is it to the horizon, for want of a better word, on the left?
Okay, let's. Yeah, that's another question.
No. It's
closer,
the same. So where your mouse is there. Well, pick one of the other images. But okay, leaving aside that darker aspect to it, go to the right-hand end then. How far away is that? That's also 500 miles. It's the same distance away.
Of course, it's the same distance.
Okay,
that's
so
how
why do you
circles work.
expect it to appear like that?
Why do I expect a circle to look like a circle?
But
that's what you're asking me. That why do I expect a circle to look like a circle when you're inside the circle?
Okay, let me try one more time. And I'm not being rude.
So it's the same distance here as it in here. You're saying if I put a giant circle on the ground,
Yeah.
And I was standing in the middle of it just because it's the same distance here, here, and here that I couldn't figure out that I'm in a fucking giant circle and there wouldn't be a curve to what I'm looking at.
It depends. If it was I don't know, in the middle of a soccer pitch, you have a centre circle. If you're stood in the middle of that, you're going to see it's a circle. If it's 50 miles to the edge to that circle in front of him, no, you're not.
That's ridiculous. Why would it matter if it's the distance? I'm higher up so I can see further. Why does that change the situation?
Mage is higher up, but in a flat Earth, you'd see further because you're up higher, and it goes on forever. So,
all right, let's agree to disagree on this one.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to.
But I'd like to ask you another question. Do you think we could use trigonometry to determine how far we can see in your Mage 2 imagery?
Well, I will. Quite honestly, I think I said before, I am not a mathematician. I'll have to defer to others who are on that. Okay, so I hope you can respect that. There's all sorts of information that can be gained from these images, like Walter Bislin gained. I mean, there's no way I could do what he did. No way at all. Absolutely stunning stuff he's done.
He does do a lot of work. I got to say, I'm impressed by how much he puts out. Does he have a team working with him, or is it just him?
I think it's just him. Have you looked at his Mage pages and calculations? Because if you haven't, Brandon... oh, you have? Good. Yeah. Because I found that really interesting. I based some of my
calculations on his stuff. So I tried to calculate how far you were seeing in this imagery. Of course, the calculation is flawed from the get-go, since you have no idea at what point in your imagery, in your video, the camera is horizontal. So it's really
horizontal
hard to...
doesn't matter. If you know...
It does matter.
No, hold on. I'll explain why it doesn't matter. If you take that rectangular image, the photo that's been taken, we know, or the manufacturers are able to tell us, where and how much distortion there is in different parts of that. Yes, if you've got an object across the middle, we know that there's no distortion. The further towards the edges, the more distortion. So as long as you...
Excuse me, I'm not talking about in regards to the distortion, Mr. Sensible.
Well,
I'm talking about in regards to using geometry to figure out how far it is.
Oh, I see. Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood what you were talking about. I have had a couple of people saying they're quite right, that there is no physical limit to our site, but I guess I do get what you're saying as well. Atmosphere does, because even on the clearest of days, if you're on a high mountain or whatever, everything starts to look bluer and bluer. So there is a limit to that point of view, but otherwise there's no limit, because we can see stars light years away. Andromeda Galaxy 2.2 million light years away, and so on.
Yeah, exactly. So what I did here is, we don't have to go through it because, like I said, it's flawed, was try to calculate how far you were seeing. I don't think this is 100% accurate, but what I did was take your field of view, which is 30-something point something, or 23.6. Is that right? Your field of view? Ignore this.
It's
26.6 vertical field of view for Mage 2 footage.
I don't... I mean, Walter Bislin's got those figures because he looked up the manufacturer's details and he did some calculations or whatever. So, as I said, I am not a mathematician. Okay, so
that's what he said that the field of view was. So what I did was I based, called this center frame, right, in between these two lines here. So you're the center of your frame.
Can't do that because they're not.
No, why?
Because they are roughly the center. But we're talking. This is
this is a rough calculation. This is not brain science here. I'll just tell you what I did, and then you can tell me if you think I'm wrong or think about it. So what I did was I figured out where the center was, and I said, okay, well, this is 13 degrees field of view from the center to the bottom and 13 to the top, roughly, right?
Okay, go on, carry on.
Okay, so then I using trigonometry, I figured out where this position is here at the bottom of the field of view, from the camera to this position, what the rough distance is. Do you agree that we could do that with trigonometry?
Yes, although you'll be looking at the top of clouds, but I take your point. Carry on.
Yeah. I don't know how high the clouds are. Maybe that would impact it. Good point. And then when you cut that in half, you would say that it's twice as far.
Are you working over a flat surface or over a curved surface for your
I'm
maths?
working over a flat surface. I just did this today, so I don't know if I'm flawed. I was hoping that you had an idea of how far you could see.
Well, only based on signal reception of roughly 400 to 500 miles, which equates with that cone that you'd see at the distance of 37 3/4 kilometers above a sphere.
So regardless of whether this is correct or not, which it isn't, let's just say this isn't correct. You're seeing a long way. As you can tell, when you get up towards the horizon, it is drastically compressing. So I would be surprised if it's only 400 models. Now, the ball model might tell you that it's only 400 models, but it'd be interesting if someone came up and calculated, based on what we see in this picture, exactly how far it is. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So it sounds like we agree on nearly everything except for the fact that you are saying that you're 100% sure, it sounds like to me, that there's no way that it couldn't be Earth curvature in your Mage 2 imagery. Is that correct?
Okay, to be technically accurate and absolutely scrupulously honest, you always have to have that tiny element of doubt. So I would say 99.99999, but I suppose there's that little chance. Being absolutely honest, I don't think for a moment that chance is the case, but you have to allow for that.
And I would agree with you that I am not 100% certain, obviously, that it isn't Earth curve. Although I highly doubt it, and I would probably, bet a lot of money that it isn't Earth curvature.
Can I ask you, Brandon, because when I was talking to you, I'm not going into it again, but when I was talking to you earlier on about stars, you got a bit salty and said you weren't having me telling you. I wasn't trying to. I was saying, if you wanted to defend that position, perhaps you should look into that, because maybe you could formulate your arguments better. That's where I was coming from. But what I was going to say was, oh God, it's slipped my mind now. Well, we've had a good discussion here, and it really. Oh yeah. What experiments have you done? I was trying to turn it around to this a little earlier on. What experiments have you done, or could you imagine doing, that might actually positively evidence a flat Earth?
Yeah, I think what needs to be done is a physical measurement of Earth curvature. Not using optics, not using lasers, taking as many variables as possible out of it, which would involve creating a physical straight line of some kind above the surface of water, still water, to measure the difference between the ends in the middle above the straight water. So you'd need like a 3-mile straight line, which is damn near impossible to do. You can't just go out in your backyard and do that.
Well, have you spoken or heard of Bev try thinking? Because that's basically what he's talking about, but using a water level.
Yeah, yep. Bev is on the show on a regular basis.
Yeah. But what he doesn't seem to realise...
I've been talking about it for quite a while, but it is difficult to do.
Yeah, but he's going to... If you had, let's say you made, I don't know how, an absolutely rigid rod of steel or something that was 3 miles long that would not bend, and you put that above a flat, you know what I mean, a still surface of water, then in effect what you're trying to do is draw a tangent line and have each end be further above the surface of the water than the middle. That would prove it's curved. If it was the same, that would prove it's flat. That's the sort of thing you're getting at, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But what Bev seems to absolutely fail to understand is, with a water level, if the water level here is exactly 10 centimetres above the level of the ocean or whatever, then it will be 10 centimetres above 30 miles away or whatever, because water...
Oh, you keep freezing.
Oh, right. Am I back again now? Am I back again now? Oh, he's gone, I think.
So it's really choppy.
Yeah. Tell me if I come back again.
Keep going. That's fine.
Okay. What I was saying is, with Bev's thing, it's a
Yep, I can hear you now.
It's a malformed experiment Bev's talking about, because, yes, the water will level it will be perfectly level, but each end will be the same distance above the sea level because it shares the same gravimetric equipotential. It's like a glass of water will appear flat, so will those two ends of that level. He's not going to show anything. The laser experiment.
Well, I think you should. I would suggest that you talk to Bev about that.
Oh, I did, but he doesn't get that there's a difference between horizontal and level. I tried to tell him about that experiment. Was it Jeranism did with several boards of wood with holes in shining a light? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, that was a flawed experiment from the get-go.
If you've got three holes, you've got light that's shining straight. If it shone through hole 1, hole 2, why didn't it shine through hole 3?
Well, in theory, but what was he using? He was using a flashlight, or
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I just can't remember the specifics, but I remember watching it and going, "Yeah, I don't think that's going to work like how he's doing it." He had trees in the way and all this crap. It wasn't executed properly. I certainly wouldn't say his experiment falsified the globe. Otherwise, I know, or the flat Earth. Otherwise, I know you and a ton of other people would have ran out and done this experiment every weekend and said, "Hey, look,
well,
here it is. Here's the results."
And you said it doesn't really show the flat Earth or whatever, but as Jeranism said, interesting.
Yeah, well, I know you guys love to harp on this one, but
come on,
interesting as in, interesting. I get it, but you got to understand, if you've heard his story of how that went down, they did chop his footage up. Now, whatever happened between them, I don't care, but I don't think it proves anything what happened to Jaren with those documentarians.
Well, I don't know who else might have been involved. I remember seeing bits of the experiment, but I do take your point that if someone else takes footage, you don't know quite how they've edited it together, so I do take that point. I've actually had a whole bunch of super chats come in while we've been talking. I don't know if you've got any to read, or should I read these first?
I think I've got a couple. Go ahead, and then why don't we call it a night after that?
Yeah. Before I do read, Brandon, I want to thank you. It's been a civil discussion, hasn't it?
Yeah, for the most part. I got a little excited there, but you got to get a little excited every once in a while, right? So
excited is okay. Excited is okay. You weren't abusive, and nor was I. There's nothing like that. Excited's fine. Okay.
Good. No, I thought it was a good discussion.
So did I.
So I appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me over.
Well, this is a joint hosted, isn't it? So thanks for having me as well. Okay. Right, so I'll read through these. Sorry if some of these are a bit salty towards you, Brandon. I'm sure you can stand up for yourself. Right, so PhD Tony, $5 Australian. There's a difference between hand waving and actual calculation. Mr. Glass Monster. And thank you for that, Tony. Mr. Glass Monster, $2 Canadian. Does Brandon Toy have a brain? Sorry. There's someone here called Far Q Tube. $2 US. A flat Earth model. That's crazy talk. Thank you for that, Far. Mike's 70. I've had a whole spate of these. Mike 71, $5 US. What does Brandon think about the pressure graph at the bottom of the Mage camera? Any thoughts on the pressure graph?
I don't talk about the pressure gradient argument in the atmosphere too much.
You don't dispute there's a gradient?
No, I mean, we can measure that there's different pressure at different altitudes, right?
Good. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, some people do dispute that sort of thing.
I dispute what the cause is, but we can get into that another time.
Yeah, that would be a good one for atmospheric. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Mike, Brandon is not disputing that there's a pressure gradient. B-Ball for Life, super chat $5 US. Brandon, are you saying that we can see all the way to the edge of a flat Earth in this picture?
No, I don't know how far we can see B-Ball. I think we can see a pretty dang long way in that footage, though.
Okay. And Steve 6464, $5 US. If your science does not support my narrative, then I make up new science to make me feel better. I think that's a little bit of a dig at you.
Well, I think that, science does do that. They come up with different hypotheses and then go out and try to falsify them or prove those hypotheses. So, yeah, I'm coming up with new fucking science. I don't like your science. Sorry.
B-Ball for life again, $5 US. Brandon has already admitted that the flat Earth model doesn't work. I'm not privy to whatever that might have been.
Who was that?
B-Ball for life.
B-Ball, come on, man. I'll catch up with you later. Come on, that's not true.
Okay. Brian Pott Robson, super chat £5. Thank you, Brian. The notion of standing in the ring. Why do you not see the curve at lower levels? In fact, the curve should be more pronounced.
I'd like to hear his reasoning on that, but I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to think about that one.
Enough.
Yeah.
MC Toon. Good evening, MC. Thank you for joining us. Super chatted $4.99 US. Thank you. Quote, I don't want to talk about stars. Of course you don't, because it falsifies that Earth.
I really don't think it falsifies, but I do get your point, and I know why the Southern Star rotation. You could look at that and go, well, yeah, duh, it's another axis of rotation down there, but it's the weight of the other evidence, the other observations that I've seen that make me go, no, there is a possibility that something else is going on down there, and I think that possibility is better than the possibility that the other observations and evidence I have can be explained with the globe model.
And obviously, I would disagree, and I would say that at some point there's got to be some evidence that's an absolute killer for something. You say, well, actually, I can't argue with that. But for me, that is one of the killer ones. And for Mitchell for Australia, because he eventually said, after wriggling, he said, I don't have an explanation for that. But only got two more to read. The Snark, €5 said, Flurfer tactics. Keep talking, so it sounds like you're winning. You have nothing, Brandon Toy. You have just lost. Deal with it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's like your opinion, man.
Fair enough. It's his opinion. And there's another one here from B-Ball for life, $5. B-Ball's keen to super chat tonight. Lol. Oh, Brandon, you mean like how the main surveyor, Larry Scott, and George have already done? Does that mean...
No, not like that. No. Nowhere near like that.
I think that's up to date. I'll just have a quick check and then we can go on to super chats from your... I've got one more that's come in. It's from Second Best Bob for £5. Thank you, Bob. I've been watching on Ranty's channel and haven't had my super chat read out over there. Also, the chat isn't that friendly. Smiley face with tears. Thank you for that, Bob. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know what they did to you, Second Best Bob.
Okay. You go ahead, Brandon.
Sure thing. Let me see where I left off here. Okay. Second Best Bob, £5. How does Brandon feel about Ranty proving the globe over and over again? Obviously, I don't believe that ever happened. That's how I feel like it didn't happen. The plain truth, $4.99. I can demonstrate the aquatic horizon is the result of refraction every time. And if there's anybody that could demonstrate the effects of atmospherics over water, it is the plain truth. He's got a lot of good stuff on his YouTube channel. Thanks, Plain Truth. Gently's channel, $2. Hey, Mr. S, you're slaying it. Brandon has no answers. Thanks, Gently. Just let me... Where's the block button? Okay, blocked. Thanks, Gently.
Oh, actually, Brandon, did you block him for that?
No, I didn't block
him. Good. I mean, after all, not being funny, he paid you to say that.
Yes, he did. He paid me to insult myself.
Yeah.
So. Rob Keane, I don't care.
No.
Rob Keane, Cleary is the funniest guy on the plane. That's a bold claim, Rob. He's pretty funny, though. Flat Earth Data, what causes the ground to appear to rise? Your curvature calculator says it's the curve. In reality, it appears to rise because of perspective. Correct, Mr. Sensible?
Well, by definition, if you're on a sphere, leaving aside topography, excuse me, any surfaces curving down away from you. When you look forward, you're actually looking slightly down. I mean, we're talking about a big sphere, so it's as near as damn it horizontal, but you're actually looking just below horizontal. Read what he said again, because I think I've answered it. I'm not trying to avoid.
Yeah, let me read it one more time. What causes the ground to appear to rise? Your curvature calculator says it's the curve. In reality, it appears to rise because of perspective, correct?
No, eyeballs swivel. So when you're looking, you are looking subtly downwards. You're not aware of it. You're looking at a surface that's 20 miles away. It's not.
Okay.
I mean, there is perspective. Obviously, things are appearing smaller as they get further away from you.
Yeah, I think what he's talking about is it does appear to rise within your vision. I mean,
yeah,
due to perspective, things appear to ramp up to somewhere near eye level, especially when you're on the ground, right?
I'm glad you said that. Somewhere near eye level, it never ever goes above. Can't. Geometrically impossible.
Okay. Rakia Life, big super chat, $99.99. Thanks,
wow.
Rakia. So still no measurement of drop from horizontal. I believe that's aimed at you, Mr. Sensible.
That is aimed at me. Like I said, I'm not a mathematician. Sorry, I didn't catch that person's name. Kia, was it?
Rakia Life.
Rakia. Well, listen, have a look at Walter Bislin's page, because he does do analysis on the Mage photos with both the Mage camera and I think the wide-angle camera, and he does them at varying heights. But what he also does is, as part of that, he's worked out the horizon drop. Okay? So, I mean, you may disagree with what he says, absolutely, but he has done the maths. He's a mathematician, or has math skills that I don't. Okay? So I wasn't trying to prove any drop. I personally am unable to prove any drop. That's not what we were up there for. It was simply to go up there to try and take a photo of whatever's there, flat or curved. Okay?
All right. Well, thank you very much again. Thanks for doing this, and we'll have to get together sometime in the future.
Yeah, I like that. It was good, Brandon. So thank you very much.
Yep. Talk to you later.
Okay. Are you just going to drop out of the room?
Yeah, I'm just going to close the window and then.
Okay, because my OBS is linked to this window, so I can just carry on for a few minutes. That'd be great.
There you go. See you later.
You take care. Bye-bye. Wow, I thought that was really good. I hope the stream hasn't just died. He's just about gone there. I hope that you've all enjoyed that. Thank you very much for some of those super chats there. Very, very kind. I hope I haven't missed any others. I don't think I have. No. Oh no, Gently's channel. Is that right? Gently's channel. You didn't read my previous super chat. Hope Brandon does. Gently, I didn't see a previous super chat on here. There was. You're right. My apologies. Gently's previous super chat, £5. Brandon, when are you going to make an argument? It's a little late for that. I literally missed that, Gently. I'm very, very sorry. That was £5. Appreciate that, as well as your later one for £5. I appreciate that too. Right, what I could do. Let's see what have I got here. Right, yes, I was just checking any messages. I will be stopping shortly. I can't even find. Where's my server gone? Oh, there's my server. Wow. Let's get some people in. Got a whole bunch of people. I'm going to just pull you all in at once. 1 second. So we've got Schmucker, we've got PhD Tony, we've got Glass Monster, we've got Gary Isle of Wight, we've got Flint, we've got Dr. Bob, and let's make sure I've got the sound on. Good evening to you all. Hello? Can any of you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Hello, stranger.
Hello.
Hey, got some people. Sorry, I pulled you all in and then lost everything. And now I realised it's flipping. Oh, do you know, I'm not keen on this Zoom because as soon as I come off the window, there we go, everything disappears. Hello, good evening to you. How did you think that went, guys? What did you think of all that?
I have the same thoughts on that she did on that missed super chat. How in the world did he not be able to come up with any kind of an argument?
What, that sort of hand wave sort of thing?
Yeah. Like, oh, yeah.
I mean, that 2 points of stellar rotation, that's a bit of a killer. And it was a bit... Oh, let's not talk about that. Well, come on, it's quite important if you're talking about flat Earth or spherical Earth. It works with a sphere. It don't work with a flat Earth.
Right.
Sorry, guys, was making a brew.
That's all right, Gary. Good evening to you. Did you enjoy that at all?
Yeah, that was thoroughly interesting. Really, really enjoyable stream tonight. Really enjoyed that.
I did too. I mean, there's a little bit of trepidation in that we had to. I mean, I know I physically had control of the room, but because of that, I had to be scrupulously fair not to use any of the room's controls. No, and I wouldn't. But there's that little bit of trepidation. How would it go? But he was perfectly all right. I mean, people are going to get a bit salty at times if you get into an argument discussion. I was a little bit surprised when he did about what he was getting a bit salty about, but then it went back to normal again, so that's okay.
Well, he wasn't rabid or stabby.
No,
was he?
No.
Sorry.
And he wasn't rude or nasty. No, absolutely not. I would never accuse him of that. From that point of view, everything was all okay as far as I'm concerned.
But wrong, nonetheless.
Oh, yep. Of course, no doubt he's back on his channel saying exactly the same.
I don't doubt that.
But it was that whole thing about that circle of sight, just trying to get the idea. Well, yeah, if you can see, let's say 25 miles, then you can see 25 miles, whichever bloody direction you're looking in.
Exactly.
I don't know. Yeah, go on.
And I didn't really get what he was driving at with the radio telemetry.
Yeah, nor did I. I mean, I don't know enough about it. You know, how much can that radio signal bounce around, or do you know what I mean? Be received beyond the curve. There's going to be some limit, but the point is, with the software, if you took a Google map, zoomed in, as you zoomed out, that circle gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and that matches up. If you've got reception stations in that circle, they can pick it up. If they're outside of that circle, they can't. End of.
And the higher that sond goes, the further you'll be able to hear those signals. I mean, it's a UHF signal, which is blocked by things like the leaves on trees. So the higher you go, obviously, the further that signal will be able to be received. Simple as that. It's not a difficult concept.
No, it isn't. And this is one of the trackers. You can see the whole tracker fitted in there, and there's a little slot for an AA battery. And it had a little wire hung out about, 10 centimetres long. It was tiddly, but that could be picked up. There's no problem at all, as long as there's nothing in the way.
Exactly, and the fact of the matter is, you look at the Voyager spacecraft, they are billions and billions of miles away, and they're using a 20-watt transmitter with nothing in between them and the Earth. So yes, you'll be able to receive them. Simple as.
Yeah, and I mean, now they're talking about, I don't know what it is, a billionth of a candle in strength or something. It's incredible, isn't it?
It's about as much power as your fridge light uses.
But seen from a distance of whatever.
But outside the edge of the solar system now.
Yeah.
There's nothing in between, so there's nothing to stop that signal.
Of course, you do need a bloody big aerial to pick it up, but it's still there.
You do. But it's still there, and you can still receive it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what his issue was with that. The higher that thing goes, the further you'll be able to receive it. I mean, I could have received it here on the Isle of Wight.
Absolutely, you could.
Not from when you launched it, but when it got probably 1,500, 2,000 meters up, I could certainly have received it, no problem.
Yep.
You know what would have been? You know what else is kind of incredible about the Voyagers? Their transmitters are vacuum tube.
They are.
My kind of technology.
Because obviously using solid state technology would be affected by the gates, would be affected by the radiation. So it would make absolute sense to use valves.
For the transmitter.
Guys, you're
transmitter and
breaking
there's nothing,
up a little. This seems to be coming and going tonight. I've had a couple.
There's nothing that's going to.
Well, I've had a couple super chats. Second best Bob, £2, saying don't miss this one. I didn't, Bob. Thank you. And Far Q Tube super chatted $2 US, saying let's have a same time vape, Mr. Sensible. I'm ready, Far. I'll give you a few seconds to get your vape ready. Let's enjoy.
I've got my vape, and it's lovely.
Oh my gosh, I just grabbed my shatter pan.
Thank you. I enjoyed that. Yeah. So I thought. I just see another chat. Guys, I really, really do appreciate all these chats that come in. It's been very kind. That was a sudden flurry, especially towards the end. But I've had another one come in from Mr. Bob, the science guy. Good evening to you, Bob. Very nice job trying to talk in circles, Brandon. Glad you admitted to curvature. Why does compression result in a curve? That was from Bob, the science guy, $5 US. Absolutely, Bob. That's what I was trying to get to him. Yeah, no matter what, it doesn't make it curved. It just doesn't.
Nope. He mentioned condensing as well.
I think he meant squish. Hello, Bob.
Hello.
Hey, Bob.
Hello, Bob.
How you doing, Brandon?
You must have got my message.
What did I get your message about? Oh, yeah. That I was in the main chat area when I was super chatting. You let me get the money out first. I like that. That's my first super chat in a coon's age.
Wow.
Okay.
That was frustrating. Trying to, I mean, he did admit, and I wasn't trying to trick him, but he did admit that there was something curved in the image. He's not saying it's the Earth. That's fair enough. But I couldn't get him really to explain. Well, what is it then?
He can't.
Exactly.
It's
I know he
Earth.
can't. Well, why does?
Yeah, it's Earth.
Sorry, I was going to say, why is it that whichever direction you look, then to the left and right of it, it appears to slightly curve down? It's not weather, because if the weather's like that in one direction, over there it's slightly different. But the
Question for you, Mr. Sensible.
Always, Mr. Dr. Bob. Mr. Dr. Bob? Go ahead.
I don't care what you just call me, Bob.
You can call me anything you like, but don't call me late for dinner.
That's right.
Late for
Now,
dinner. What do you have?
Here's the great flaw. Here's the great flaw in flat Earth mentality, and it's because they have no idea of how the atmosphere actually works. If the atmosphere is so thick, it obscures your vision. What does the horizon look like?
Yeah, it's only going to be a fuzzy mess, isn't it? Surely.
You're not going to see a horizon. Have you ever been in a cloud? Can you see the horizon because of the thick atmosphere?
Yes.
You can't see the horizon.
Yeah. So how is it down at sea level? Down at sea level, where you've actually, of course, got much thicker atmosphere, you can get those images of half a ship at the horizon, or, as I said to him, half the sun or the moon at sunrise, sunset. He never came up with an explanation for that, because it certainly isn't compression, is it?
And if the atmosphere is thickened due to fog or moisture in the air, you're not going to see a horizon at all. You're going to see a freaking cloud bank or a fog bank.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come on, guys. Grow up.
Well, RGM True said, I don't have enough money to give you money, Mr. Sensible. If I did, though. Listen, I don't expect it, RGM. I'm just glad you guys are here. For those who want to or are able to super chat, I am, of course, extremely grateful. It's not a requirement. And I certainly don't think less of anyone who either decides that they're not able to or don't wish to super chat. So don't worry about it. Thank you.
Very nice. You guys can send it to me if you want.
Yeah. Send it to Bob. He's a money-grabbing doctor.
That's right.
I've got to get hold of that pound note for you, haven't I?
Yes.
Note.
Yeah. I've got to send Dr. Bob a pound note, and then we've got an official patient-doctor relationship.
We're both showing our ages here, Mr. Sensible. If you can remember pound notes.
That way you can tell me stuff in confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could always send me one, Bob. A pound note. Maybe we'll just to own one, just because it's a different currency than what I've got.
Yep. No, I mean, that was amazing. You see the techniques that he was trying to pull on you? You see how many times he was very specific about saying, well, is that the geometric horizon?
Yes. Yeah.
You,
I was going to say, what tricks did you think he saw? Which ones did I miss? Which ones did I definitely avoid? And
I'm going to look at it again, but the big thing that he would do was he would talk about the geometric horizon. He constantly is saying supposedly or supposed.
Yeah.
You know, he uses all these little tricks. The other one that he tried to catch you on was, how high can you see the curve of the Earth?
Yes.
Specifically, what's the minimum height that you can see that?
Yeah.
Who the hell cares? Let's address the picture that is in front of us from Mage.
Yeah, because if it's a flat Earth, you'll never see a curve. So whatever that height is. Sorry, I talked over you. I was going to say, whatever that height is, whether it's at ground level, 10 kilometres, 20 kilometres, 30 kilometres, if you can see a curve, then it's curved. It's not flat. Boom.
Yep.
Boom.
So
but technically, with
don't
the perfect...
try and pin you down to a number.
No, that's right. And I said I couldn't give you a number, but technically, on a perfect sphere with perfect conditions, which you're not going to get if there's any sort of atmosphere, you'd have to have no atmosphere, with perfect equipment, then, yeah, perhaps you could see it at ground level, sea level, whatever. But, yeah, what does it matter, as you said, Bob?
Well, now he's going to be putting out everything Mr. Sensible says you can see the curve from sea level.
Well, hopefully you can't pick that out from what I said. I said you may be able to measure it with ideal conditions and equipment or whatever. Oh, Bunny Killers just super chatted $10 US from BK and all the people who want to but can't afford at the moment. Thank you, Bunny Killer. That's very kind. Appreciate that.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see the curve of the Earth very clearly from considerably lower than Mage was at. The bottom line is, there's the picture from Mage. It shows a curve. Now you have to address what that is.
Yeah.
And if it's compression, why is compression curved?
Yes, which is what one thing I tried to say. Yeah, looking straight ahead, if that peak of that curve, whatever it is X distant, why does it look lower to the left and to the right? It's just nonsensical.
The other thing that he tried to do is, you know, the picture of the sphere with the circle on it that he kept bringing up?
Yes.
Do you notice how many times he said, well, if you saw this, well, the horizon would be curved? No, it wouldn't. It would be flat.
Which is why I kept saying about, I mean, on the scale of that diagram, yes, it looks like that. But you're talking about something miles and miles and miles away. Like I said as well, on a soccer pitch with the centre circle, if you stood in the middle, yeah, you're going to see it's a circle because that's like sort of being halfway to the moon and looking back at the Earth. Yeah, you're going to see a circle. But if that circle that you're stood in the centre of Wembley, or whatever it is, Wembley Stadium, if that circle is 20 miles radius, you're not going to see that. You're not going to see it's a circle.
Well, the other thing that you would see is, say, instead of being in the circle in the middle of a field, you were on a circular table standing in the middle of it. The edge of the table is as far as you could see. You would see horizon 360 degrees around you, and it would appear flat as a board.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if the table itself is slightly curved upward in the middle. All you're seeing is the edge of that circle, and that circle's the same angle from your observer height, and it'll be flat all the way around. The fact that you see curvature here is very significant. The other thing that he tried to drum in was being able, well, how far, did you have, could you hear the radio signal from 700 miles away? Could you hear the radio signal from Long Island?
Yeah.
I don't know.
High enough, you could, yeah.
But the key thing is that's not significant unless you can produce somebody in Long Island that heard it.
Yes. Well, like I said,
well, it'd have to be pretty damn high to be heard over there.
It's always going to depend who is listening and uploading to the server. But it actually, he said, so you can't say that someone that distance couldn't see it, couldn't hear it. No, I couldn't. What I can say is that no one ever outside that calculated distance for whatever height you're at, no one ever outside that circle has ever picked it up. So the chances are they can't.
And there's a thing known as the radio horizon, which is determined by the height of the transmitter above ground.
Exactly. That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
The fact that he raised the question, well, maybe it could have been heard. is not as significant as if he could produce evidence that it was heard.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, there was evidence it was heard in Los Angeles. Well, that may raise questions, because that wouldn't be possible on a curved Earth.
Absolutely.
And it also depends upon the frequency.
Nobody happened to hear it doesn't really tell you anything.
It depends upon the frequency on which the radio transmitter is transmitting. If it's transmitting in the HF band, you'll be able to hear it a long, long way away at ground level.
Of course. And
if you're on the VHF, this is why when aeroplanes take off from the airport, they talk to the control tower on VHF, and then when they go beyond the curve of the Earth, they talk to the control tower on HF.
Yeah.
Simple as that, because it follows the curve of the Earth.
I mean, if I launched Mage and on that day there was no one around who could be bothered to listen in, then I would have no signals reported, and I wouldn't know at all how far it could be picked up. But what we do know is it was picked up by numerous stations, every single one of which was within the drawn circle. And it was amazing, basically looking at a Google Earth image or Google Maps image, and with time, as Mage flew, you could see its location across the map changing slightly, but as it was getting higher, it literally kept redrawing that circle higher and higher, and then you get pings as other stations picked it up.
I wish you'd given me that spot frequency, Mr. Sirius, because I could have recorded that on my SDR radio and screenshotted it and demonstrated it.
Yeah, for personal reasons, Q didn't want anything that would reveal locations, and I had to, and I was quite happy to fully respect his decision, even if.
Well, I don't think it would have revealed the location. It would have revealed the heading. At least,
maybe, but his request or as part of the agreement, we would not be revealing that. So, absolutely, on my honour, I agreed to that, and so that's what we've done. Even if that has hobbled some of the evidence we may have been able to gather, No,
and that's fair enough.
Yeah. No, I know that you're not arguing otherwise. Yes, it would have been nice. It would have been nice to, in effect, live stream the exact location we were when we launched, even have people come and watch. But that was not compatible with Q's wishes. I 100% respect that, because, for instance, if we were launching from my house, I wouldn't have wanted anyone to know. If we were launching or flying anywhere near my area. In fact, at one time, the funny thing was, because obviously depending on the height, the weather conditions change and so on, and its speed of ascent or descent, at one time it calculated to actually land within about 4 miles of my house. It ended up a long way away, but that was quite spooky.
There's one other point I think that bears mentioning in this. You know how you talked about the clouds that you clearly identified over the eastern coast of Ireland?
Yes.
Okay. He tried to say, well, you could see further, you could see shorter, whatever. All right. The way you do that is you say, okay, you see that right there? That's Pikes Peak. And I can clearly identify it as Pikes Peak. It's on the correct bearing, and it's at the correct elevation. All right. That's Pikes Peak. You clearly identified the coast of Ireland based on those clouds. He could not identify anything further than that. And he should have been able to on a flat Earth.
Yeah, there would be something. Although I do take this point. If it was a flat Earth, then as you're looking further, that angle's changing, so everything does look, because of perspective, because obviously perspective is a very real thing that none of us deny, things would look more and more compressed, absolutely. But, well, it's quite interesting.
Smaller, but you could still see a small Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
If it was above the visual range and suitable to be seen through the atmosphere, what little there was of it.
Well, I've forgotten I feel terrible now. The guy who actually had said, I do credit him in the video, it said to me, hey, we should look at this on satellites, and he dug out that imagery. it's a brilliant idea. I know that people have done stuff with satellites, matching them to clouds, but to actually match it to the clouds that our cameras saw on that high altitude balloon was amazing. We were quite fortunate. It was just such a stunningly obvious gap in the clouds. So it wasn't a cloud formation, it was a gap in the cloud formation. That long clear bit and two big sort of patches that were clear, matching up with 3 satellites and with Mage. That was just beautiful. And to be fair to him, he wasn't denying we went up there.
He couldn't.
No, which is why I did. I went to the effort of doing that satellite imagery, and why I went to the effort of putting in that full launch to landing, sit in the grass for half an hour until recovery video, so that no one could say, "Oh, it's faked" or anything like that.
Well, the other thing that he couldn't question was the temperature and the pressure readings.
Ah, did you not see that Brian's logic the other day? He actually did raise a question about the temperatures. Did you see that?
No, I don't really pay much attention to him. I tried to debate him once and found him so woefully unprepared that I just ignore him from then on.
But surely the temperatures were irrelevant.
Of course they are. Of course they are. What he pointed out was that the temperature on Mage at the peak is about 4.8 degrees centigrade. He actually did a little bit of research into the stratosphere and found a temperature range, and at the top it should go up. He got muddled up, but it should go up to 0 degrees. So it was several degrees above what perhaps it should have been. Now, I conceded that apparently the temperatures Mage has recorded look higher. However, it follows the correct temperature gradient on the flight up, with the temperatures dropping and then rising again. But also, it was a cheap dual-purpose sensor. It did the temperature and the pressure. And of course, the higher you go, the harder the vacuum, the less there is to properly register a temperature. It's not designed for that. And of course, you also only need to get a bit of residual heat from either the itself or the sun getting onto the sensor. It's going to blow it out. So I actually gave him credit for spotting the temperature looked high and doing a little bit of research. But it doesn't matter, because whatever the temperature, that doesn't affect the shape of the Earth.
It's a calibration issue. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
and precision.
Well, he said that above the height of balloons, they got no idea about this stuff. I said, yes, they do. And it took me 5 minutes research, and I pointed out, and people have now been looking at it, and I recommend you do, sounding rockets. They're sort of basically cheap-ass rockets that will go up and measure all sorts of things. They send up packages, and they can measure the temperatures and so on. Now, if they're particularly interested in the temperature, they're going to use good quality scientific equipment and take all the relevant sort of precautions to make sure it's not affected by the sun or whatever else. Mage, we put a bit of plastic pipe over the top. So that's not what Mage was about.
Look at the University of Alaska Fairbanks and the Poker Flats rocket base. And what they do there is they send sounding rockets up into the aurora. And there's a lot of data from the University of Alaska Fairbanks. So there's a source for you.
Well, you have obviously heard of sounding rockets, Bob, and maybe quite a few other people have, but I know that an awful lot had never heard of them before.
I lived in Fairbanks. They shot them off all the time. I knew people that worked there.
Well, they used them when they were doing the nuclear bomb test as well. Sounding rockets to measure temperatures and the shock waves and
on the videos.
Yeah, exactly. You see them going up. So they're just sort of standard procedure, really.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, Brian had said, well, you can't measure and know anything above but high altitude balloon flight, which could get a bit higher than Mage, which is, of course, untrue. And again, it doesn't affect the shape of the Earth. Well, all we did was we sent up a camera with Mage 1. We didn't even bother with a pressure or temperature sensor. It was with Mage 2. We thought, well, yeah, we're going for this again, going higher. Let's send up a pressure sensor. Oh, look, we get a freebie temperature sender built in as well. Good. So we'll report that. It's as simple as that. No one is expecting it to be scientifically perfectly accurate. And it wasn't, but it did show the gradient. And I've also had Brian say, aha, well, then you can't trust the rest of the instruments. I will be addressing that. What he doesn't seem to realise, even though I did say, is with the pressure, I sanity checked it, because when we were at the height of Everest, we looked at the value, compared it to the known atmospheric pressure at the top of Everest, and it was pretty damn close. With regard to the position, that was not one, but two GPS sensors that were nothing to do with the temperature sensor, because he's basically saying throw out all the readings. Oh, I've still got his stream open, or Brandon's stream.
Your audio's a bit in and out there, Mr. Sensible.
It's been like that. It's been like that tonight. It could be partly because my audio is going to Google Meets and back again. That could be part of it.
Well, it was perfectly good on the stream, but in here, it
you're hearing it through Discord, of course.
I'm on Discord. Yeah,
you're hearing it through Discord. Don't know. I mean, I don't normally run like this, but it seemed to be the best way. It gave each of us a chance, although it wasn't really planning to, and I didn't. But it gives each of us a chance to present something. I need to get a better solution, really. But computer.
What's your internet upload speed?
LBS Discord equals. Get it right?
I can't remember my internet upload speed. I think my down is about 30. So is it about 5 or 6? So it's not bad, not brilliant, but not bad. Discord, I did originally do some with. I think it was with Colon's help. I did do some changes to audio rates and things like that, which helped. Audio rates and things like that helped, but I don't know. It's difficult. I think I'm basically going to have to pretty much run as I am until that point. I decide, right, I've got to get upgrade with a new computer or whatever. That's what I tend to do. Upgrade everything at once. So
well, I'm with BT, Mr. Sensible, and I've got a 50 down and 10 up.
Yeah, well, I live in the sticks, so it's always a problem.
Well, I'm less than a mile from the exchange, so I've got a fairly good connection.
Well, we're not.
Where I am, I've got about 140, 160 down, and probably 60 to 100 up, depending on the weather.
This is the UK. Thinking about it, mine is via BT, but so of course it's fibre to the box, not to the house.
Yeah,
I got the same deal with BT. Whether I was using a 10 megabyte download or 50 megabyte download, same price. So I changed over to the high speed one.
I've got 400 down and 20 up, but my computer and modems will only handle the 100 down, but they'll still go 20 up.
At the time that they were doing this, there's an independent company that tends to do fibre to remote locations, and they just happened to do my area, or they were planning to do our area. That's when BT suddenly decided, after all these years, say, we're going to do that to try and get the business first. When it came to it, BT actually managed to get it done first, so I had to go with them because there was no firm date, but it was only shortly after that the other company did. So at some point I'll be able to, because I've got a fibre pot out the front. It'd be a bit of a pain in the arse getting it connected up, but at least there is a pot just outside. So it's a possibility for the future.
Be worth doing.
What's that? Divorcing Mrs. Sensible, finally moving in with Kylie Minogue?
No,
do that.
Divorce Mrs. Sensible, coming to Canada and help me set up my 15-inch refractor.
Well, whatever Mrs. Sensible faults are, Glass, I've got a feeling I might find her a little more attractive than your good self, all right? So I think I'll stick with Mrs. Sess.
Mrs. Sensible sounded very nice.
She is very nice. But then you are from a distance,
You haven't seen me, though, so you don't know.
This is true, Glass. This is true. Oh, man. Well, I really enjoyed that tonight. Brandon was someone who could talk to you. That's what I like. I don't have to agree with him. I don't mind the fact he got a little bit salty at one point. That's fine. We could actually talk. And he was honest enough to say, yes, I can see curve. Not curve of the earth, but a curve in that image. That's progress and some honesty, rather than those idiots that just say no. That's straight.
Yeah. And as I say, he wasn't stabby or rabid or anything like
No.
that. He was perfectly amicable, to be perfectly honest, I think.
Yeah. And how about that, having Multi-TomTom in on the stream beforehand? I think TomTom's still around. Thank you for that, TomTom. Do please email me, and we can sort out. Oh yeah, I see he is still there. That's great. Yeah, email me, TomTom, and we'll pick a subject or an aspect, whatever it is, space is fake or moon landings or whatever the hell it is you're happy to, and we'll have a chat about it. I'll be happy to do that. Cool.
Cookie says, is it strange I suddenly have a nostalgic feeling to ham radio with this chat? Yes, Cookie, yes you do. There are a lot of ham radio operators on here, myself being one of them.
Glass Monster here.
And Glass Monster as well, yep.
And Adrian Clark says, Mr. S, is there some sort of camera that would make the atmosphere clouds negligible enough to show the sharpness? Well, my understanding is infrared would help. What's involved in doing that, I don't know. I'm not... This is the thing. I'm not a specialist in any of this stuff.
I've been a professional photographer, Mr. Sensible, since 1988. And I've also been a programmer and a radio amateur as well. So I'm fairly well versed.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is lots of... I mean, if... Let's say, for the sake of argument, I decide... Because this is it. I'm... Like with Mage, I decided to send up a narrow angle camera with reference line strings. How the hell do I do it? So I started to find out. Then I was fortunate enough to come across Q. Now, if, for instance, I decided, do you know what? I want to send up an infrared camera. How the hell do I do it? I don't know. So I'll start finding out. I will ask. And then I'll get someone like Gary or whoever to give me help or advice. So anything is possible. But then...
Well, you take the infrared filter off of the... all of the sensors on a digital camera have got an infrared filter on to filter out infrared. You remove that, and there's YouTube videos telling you how to do that, so you can do astrophotography. And it's not difficult, but it's a bit fiddly. So it's not, it's easily within the realms of doing if you're prepared to get down and dirty with a screwdriver and a scalpel.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I had no idea. And just from what you said, that's not enough for me to do it. But, can search and get advice. But the thing is, so could flat earthers. If they are so sure, if that horizon is, you can't tell anything because it's all fuzzy, you should do infrared. Fine. You do infrared. Show us it's flat.
Yep, they've had exactly the same amount of time to do this stuff as we have.
Yeah. Well, there's been plenty of them doing flat Earth on YouTube a lot longer than I've been doing it. Debunking stuff. So, but that's right. They've never done anything. Brandon said, lots of balloons have gone up. We've heard lots of people say that, but there were balloons going up for all sorts of reasons. I'm sure that some may have had narrow angle cameras. Most of them had wide angle, but even when they had narrow angle, they didn't have any reference line strings in front of them, so you had nothing to show that the image had been distorted or otherwise.
Mr. Sensible,
a standard lens which gives you the same angle of view as the human eye is 45 to 55 degrees. That's the kind of angle you're looking at on there. So on a 35mm camera, that would be a 50mm lens. So if you're looking at what do they call it? 4/3, 4/3 thingy, it would be about 35mm would give you that same angle of view.
Mr. Sensible, the stream was about Mage. It wasn't about any other balloon going up. So
no, this is true.
Brandon's comment was irrelevant, and he should have been, I would have said, I don't really care about the other ones. We're talking about this one right here, because I know exactly how it was done.
Yeah, that is true, Bob. But I was happy to point out that, they're wide angle ones, or like that one with the pizza. Yeah, it's great fun. Absolutely, I'd seen that. brilliant. But it's having seen some of those videos that made me think, and seeing flat earthers say, "Ha, you see, you can't tell anything because it bends or it looks flat or whatever." I thought, well, let's rule that out. Let's try and do something that is specifically sent up there to try and show the shape of the Earth, rather than up there for whatever reason, and let's see if we can see the shape of the Earth. And I think it's done very well.
And that's the whole point of it. Every lens has got distortion. Every lens has distortion. But if you are prepared to pay an arm and a leg and have a very understanding bank manager, then you will pay tens of thousands of pounds.
Boy in here?
Because they build into the lens to correct the distortion. But because of the different wavelengths of light, they will all come to focus at a different plane. So it's very difficult to get all of the wavelengths to focus on the same plane. So that's where you
get the colour aberration, is it?
That's why you get the aberrations,
yeah.
So you will pay an arm and a leg for a top quality lens. I'm talking tens of thousands of pounds. This is why broadcast quality lenses will cost you £20,000-30,000 to get rid of the chromatic aberration. But even they have distortion in them. You cannot bring all of the frequencies of light to focus at exactly the same plane. It's physically impossible.
Yeah. Cool. Well, what is
you need to get some photographers in there, Mr. Sensible, now and again.
Well, yeah, but if I have too many people, photographers, or too many people talking about vacuum tubes, they end up having a very nice short chat about photography and vacuum tubes, and I'm sat here not knowing what the hell's going on. But I don't mind it. I don't mind us dipping into all these things, of course.
And Dog's waiting.
Well, I see Dog, and the other person. Now, I won't mention them as I don't know them, but it's 1:45 here. I am going to have to end this stream. It's been really good, really successful. It's been going for 3 hours. I really enjoyed that. Guys who are here with me, thank you all very, very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone who's watched, and anyone, especially if they sat through the whole lot. But all the comments, all the super chats, 174 likes. Thank you, guys, and my members and my patrons. Thank you all so very much. You guys here in chat, I'm going to chuck you all into the live waiting room, and I'll come in for a quick hello. So I don't know if you all want to shout out good night or something, because we're going to end.
Yep, very good. Sable Eagle says, can you do it with mirrors instead of lenses? No, because the frequencies of light don't change and they cannot be focused at the same point simultaneously. So no, you can't do it with the mirrors. You can correct, but you won't be able to get it absolutely precise. Anyway, there we go.
Lovely. All right. Well, thank you, Gary. And the last one in here is Dr. Bob. Thank you very much, Bob. Appreciate your dropping in, as always.
Thanks for having me. And that's the whole purpose behind an apochromatic telescope, a triplet, is to make that light come together at the same focal length at each of the different frequencies, so you don't get the aberration.
Cool. Well, I'm just glad I'd heard of colour aberration, so I didn't look like a total idiot.
No, you did great.
Just a partial one. Okay, brilliant. Listen, thank you very much, Bob. Appreciate it. I'll drop you into the waiting room. All right. Thank you. Oh, he's jumped himself. Thank you. So, yeah, I really, really have enjoyed this, guys. I did think that it was good with Brandon. Obviously, I don't agree with what he said, but it was a pleasant discussion, and I think we could do something like that again. Perhaps choose a different topic. Appreciate all the kind words from everyone. I'm sorry I can't get to speak to everyone or respond to everyone. I'd very much like to, but it's not going to be a possibility. So I'm going to say good night. See you soon. I've got an important video out tomorrow. Okay, it's not a flat earth thing. It's more general, but I think it's something important that needs to be said. That'll be out tomorrow at 9:15 p.m. GMT. Okay. Until then, take care. Stay sensible.